Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. We are here to cover the Creative Arts Emmy Awards, GoldDerby.com's exclusive coverage. These aren't televised live, so this is the only place you have to watch the winners as they're unveiled, as they are sent to us by our reporters on the ground, on the scene of the Creative Arts, Marcus Dixon and Chris Boomer Beachum. And this is an exciting night. We're going to see if Hugh Laurie, after never winning an Emmy for House, is finally going to take one home for Veep. We're going to see the people were asking all year on Stranger Things, where's Barb? Well, she's at the Emmys today, and she could win and for Stranger Things. So there's so much exciting things happening here. We're going to see Westworld take on Handmaid's Tale, take on The Crown. We're going to see Food going against the Big Little Liars. We're going to see so much stuff happening. I'm joined to start tonight's proceedings with Sam and Charles. Sam, what are you most excited for?
I'm most excited for Westworld, and I wrote plenty for Gold Derby, spinning all my theories all season long, so I'm hoping it cleans up. It's, got a lot of great design elements, so I'm hoping it has a lot of competition from like Handmaid's Tale and Stranger Things, Crown, but I hope this is a big night for Westworld.
Well, talking about Westworld, it was the nomination leader from the Emmys this year. It got 22 nominations, a really impressive effort. And I broke down the numbers, and I think of Westworld's 22 nominations, 15 of them are going to be decided tonight. And 7 will be next week at the Primetime Emmy Awards. And of those 15, they're spread amongst 14 categories. There's one category where they've got 2 nominees. So Westworld, unless there's a tie where Westworld ties with itself in that category, the most it could win tonight is 14, which would be the record. I have our scoreboard. The Gold Derby scoreboard is back due to popular demand. These are the winners from last night's Creative Arts that won 2 or 3 Emmys. And up here, number 12 Emmy wins would tie you with Game of Thrones, which has set the record the past 2 years. 9 is the record that was held by The West Wing before Game of Thrones broke through with that record. So still an impressive total there. And we're going to be charting shows as they move up the line. A lot of these contenders down here had most of their categories last night, but things like Saturday Night Live can still be jumping up. So we'll be checking in with the scoreboard throughout the night to see which show is in the front heading into next week's Primetime Emmys Awards. Charles, welcome again. What is your what's the forefront of that mind of yours?
I'm going to be looking to see how well Stranger Things does, because that's currently my pick for drama series. I've decided to stick with it, even though it is tempting to go to The Handmaid's Tale. But I'm going to go with I'm really waiting to see how they fare in these categories, where you're going to have a lot of these programs. Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, Westworld, and The Crown. I'm interested to see which the categories that they're all up against each other, which one will prevail.
Yeah, no, very much so. And it will be interesting which of those shows ends up leaving tonight with the most wins. As I said, there are 15 Emmys, 14 categories that Westworld's competing in tonight. To compare that to some of those other shows you were mentioning, Charles, there will be 12 categories, 13 nominations spread over 12 categories for Stranger Things. So it could win a total of 13 tonight. For The Handmaid's Tale, we have there are 6 categories it's competing in tonight, and The Crown, which is the most expensive television show ever made, and largely that is due to the production design elements and costuming and all that behind the scenes stuff, is competing in 8 awards tonight. So 8's the most they can walk away with. So on the comedy side of things, as is usual, there are less nominations in this tonight. But Veep is the leader in comedy, and they'll be competing in 6 categories tonight with 7 nominations. So even some of the comedies are going to put in a good run. And actually, Silicon Valley, sorry, are competing in 5 categories tonight with 6 nominations, so right on its tail. Yeah, very good. So
I'll tell you just one other thing. I'll just tell you another category I'm going to keep my eye on is drama guest actress, because that seems to be one that always throws us for a loop. We've had the 2 years of Margot Martindale, with extreme apologies to my former computer monitor for that. And we've also, it seems like Alexis Bledel, since the nominations came out, has been solidly out front for this. And part of that just makes me think that we're going to see some crazy upset. Could Shannon Purser possibly win for Stranger Things?
I think I predicted Sharon Purser.
Oh, okay. Or Cicely Tyson or Ann Dowd. Could there be some justifiable love for The Leftovers there, and wanting to see it get some sort of prize?
If Ann Dowd takes it, it'll be crazy, because she's the only nomination for The Leftovers ever. For the whole series that hasn't even gotten casting or art direction, anything. It'll be kind of crazy, but I think her kind of veteran status, I feel like if there's an upset, she's going to be like the jaw dropper of the night.
Yeah,
I'm sure her jaw will be on the floor too.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little later, but I can really see Barb from Stranger Things pulling an upset here. Such a buzz character, it would strike me of similar to when Reggie Cathy won for House of Cards, just this sort of cult character that is very popular amongst viewers of the show. So he's obviously there's reasons why he won, that he's a bit more of a veteran as well. But we have Chris Beachum has sent us the order of the awards that are going to be announced tonight, and the first up is a big one. It's Best Casting in a Comedy Series. This is often seen as a bellwether to the comedy series prize itself. Veep has, I think, won it the past 2 years and then got on to win Comedy Series. Would someone like to run through the nominations for this category for us?
I would love to.
Thank you, Charles.
I would love to. So, I finally got the whole thing in order. So, for Outstanding Casting for a Comedy Series, our nominees are Atlanta, Master of None, Silicon Valley, Transparent, and Veep.
Is Veep going to go 3 for 3? We often see first season shows take this out. I could see Atlanta coming in here. Good.
Well, that could be a good indicator. I'm interested to see if it wins here. That could be an indicator of broader support, because that's kind of seen as Veep's main competition for a comedy series. I have a hunch. I just feel like Veep is kind of unstoppable right now. So I think it's going to stay the same. But
yeah, what do you think, Charles?
I don't know. I kind of think Atlanta has a decent shot here, and I'm also, for some reason, I'm keeping my eye on Master of None too. It's a very interestingly made show, and I think that it could definitely. That this is an area where it could definitely resonate with some of the Emmy voters. Do we know who actually votes on this category?
No,
it's a good question.
I'd say the casting directors would, I would imagine.
I thought it was possibly also, I don't know, actors or something like that, or maybe it's the other way around, where casting directors are allowed to vote for acting. I don't know.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure about that. So, it will be interesting. Master of None is a show that has been really strong at its diverse casting as well. So I think that would be a very deserved winner, and not a huge shock either. Who else is nominated? So we've got Atlanta, Master of None, Veep. They're all, I think, contenders for this.
And I wouldn't rule out Silicon Valley either.
Yeah.
What the cast on that show and the type of people that they get for their different roles is such a strong suit for them. You look at the way that the actors have that chemistry with each other because they come from similar backgrounds. That's something that could definitely play in its favor. I would love to see Transparent win, though.
The reason I sort of give Atlanta the edge, and Veep's past couple of wins notwithstanding, it's often there's an edge for a show in its first season because it's they've cast the whole cast.
Well, I've got good news and I've got bad news, Matt.
Okay.
The bad news is that your prediction is wrong. Atlanta did not win, but Gold Derby can now project with 77% confidence that Veep will take home the 3rd consecutive Emmy for Outstanding Casting for a Comedy Series.
That's fantastic news. It's a very well cast show, and yeah, no, it's fantastic. So yeah, good and bad news. Bad on the prediction, but a good show won. Not to say that the other nominees weren't deserving as well. Let's move on to our next category because they're going to start coming in pretty fast and loose, I imagine. And that is, our next category is
main title
theme music. So what are the nominees here, Charles?
We have Feud, Betty and Joan, Genius, The Good Fight, Stranger Things, Victoria from Masterpiece Theater, and Westworld.
Okay, this is our first sort of big clash of the Titans in drama series race. Westworld taking on Stranger Things. We've seen this award go to any number of different types of genre of shows and things like that. I wouldn't say it's necessarily down to those two. Sam, do you want to handicap this for us?
Oh, God. This is a hard one because not being a drama series contender doesn't really count you out. Jessica Jones won last year. That said, I feel like it's between Feud and Westworld. Ramin Djawadi, I'm probably butchering his name, but the composer has 3 previous Emmy nominations. So he's a known quantity to them, and a lot of the music is kind of incorporating other classic rock songs and giving them a new spin, and I think the main score is very evocative. So I think Westworld is there, but I wouldn't count out Betty and Joan as well.
It's interesting how you brought up that thing with Westworld because I just started watching it recently, and the thing that always catches me off guard is whenever that player piano plays something contemporary. And the thing that gets me even more is because the creator of the show, Jonathan Nolan, I guess obviously has an affinity for Radiohead. And there are several Radiohead songs that play out there. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's No Surprises.
Yeah. Which is cool. I don't know if that would like hold him back or if they're only considering, do we know if they're only considering like the brand new music or if it's...
It's the main title music.
Okay.
So the actual theme music for the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong category. Main title music. Just kidding.
But it is Ramin Djawadi. He is the nominee.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
And
yeah,
we got a winner. And Stranger Things.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought Stranger Things might win it, but beat me to the punch, Charles. We are now, so Stranger Things and Veep both opened their Emmy accounts for the 2017 awards. Let's now, the next 2 categories, I might read out the nominees for the next 2 categories and talk about the winners together, because they're both single camera picture editing awards. One is for, they're both picture editing awards. My apologies. The first is for single camera. The second's for multi-camera. They're both for comedy series. Sam, do you have those nominees in front of you?
Yes, for single camera, we have Master of None for The Thief. Silicon Valley has 2 nominations for Server Error and Success Failure, and Veep has 2 nominations for Chicklet and Groundbreaking.
Yep.
And
what are the multi-camera nominees?
Bring that up. We have The Big Bang Theory, Last Man Standing, Mom, One Day at a Time, and 2 Broke Girls.
Okay. Is Master of None going to win this because of the first one, because of the vote splitting? You got 2 Silicon Valleys, you got 2 Veep, you got Master of None, which has a very good
year.
Yeah, and it's got a very good.
Ex-Girlfriend did that because Silicon Valley and Veep had 2 each. Same thing.
Yeah, and it's a very good-looking episode, The Thief. It's in black and white, which is probably more a cinematography sort of accomplishment, but it is a very nice looking episode. I could very much see this winning here. Charles, any thoughts?
Yeah, I was just about to bring up what Sam said, is that the program is that Silicon Valley won this last year with 2 nominations, and same with, and they were also up against 2 episodes of Veep. you would think that the process of elimination would work that way, but with this, I'm just not sure, because I can't, off the top of my head, remember which episodes of Silicon Valley these two were. So I'm trying to remember. Is there something? I'm trying to remember. Was one of those the second to last episode where they do the break-in at the tech convention with their servers, and that was very well put together, well edited. So I would, if that's one of them, I would think that that would.
If we're looking at Emmys continuing to go with their favorites, one of them, the uptick was done by Brian Merkin, who also won 2 years ago for Silicon Valley. So perhaps they just stick with their, favorite people and.
Yeah, and he's up for server error.
Going for the match.
And it's worth remembering the Emmys are voted by it's peer groups that vote in the categories. So it's not like the Oscars where you've got actors voting on directors, directors voting on writers and stuff. These are the picture editors that vote in this category. And therefore, just because you see Veep winning a lot of other awards, maybe when it comes to editors, they prefer Silicon Valley. And you'll see Silicon Valley. I think we often saw that with The Sopranos and The West Wing, that obviously the writers' branch seemed to prefer Sopranos, and the director's branch seemed to prefer The West Wing when we saw winners come in. So who's won that category in the past can sometimes be a good indicator as to what show tickles the fancy of that particular branch. What about the multi-camera picture editing award? I find that one a bit of a harder one to decipher.
Well, we do have a winner, though.
Oh, we have a winner? Please announce it.
Winner. It's Master of None.
Master of None. So the vote splitting, and maybe the black and white element to that episode may have got it over the line. So now the multi-camera award. Do we have some quick takes on that?
Wasn't this for the longest time? Weren't there like two CB? Weren't they just like
for the
all
past
CBS shows?
3 years in a row? Like all Frasier, I think, and Cheers won a lot. But if you look back through the history, I'm scrolling through now, there's Big Bang Theory for the past 3 years, 2.5 Men for 2 years. They repeat a lot here. And Big Bang Theory is back again for the same Peter Chakos. Unless they give it to Mom, maybe, because that editor has won in the...
Yeah, so... Yeah, your Big Bang Theory would be your smart money here. It's one in the past. Yeah. Continuing on. And just let people who are just tuning in now know, we've had casting go to Veep. We've had main title theme music Stranger Things took down Westworld. And for, what's the other one? For comedy picture editing, The Bicycle Thief was able to, The Bicycle Thief spoof by Master of None was able to sail past the double nominees of Veep and Silicon Valley. So we're yet to have a show get to its second win yet, but we're only 3 awards in. What is our category after? Oh, do we have a winner? No, I don't think we do. What's our next? I don't know. Yeah, our next category after this one is going to be Drama Limited Series Movie Stunt Coordination. Do you want to run us through the nominees there, Charles?
Sure thing. We have The Blacklist, Blind Spot, Gotham, MacGyver. I keep forgetting that show, that CBS rebooted that, because all I think of is Patty and Selma on The Simpsons, and Marvel's Luke Cage. And I think The Blacklist has won this several years, hasn't it?
Yeah. Just 1 year, but it's only one that, because Game of Thrones won this last time. So other than The Blacklist, I believe these are all new. Oh no, that's a lie. Gotham was nominated last year. Only one who's won.
So I'd say probably you're gonna have it winning maybe Blacklist win again. And congratulations, we can announce that the winner for Best Comedy Multi-Camera Editing again goes to The Big Bang Theory. They've taken it out again. So good to look at those previous winners when predicting these categories.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we've had 5 categories so far, and 4 out of the 5 are repeat winners.
Yeah.
Except, no, 3 out of the 5. I'm sorry, I messed that up.
Unbelievable. So we've got our next category after the stunt coordination is series, limited series, or movie, period, fantasy, costumes. Do you want to run us through the nominations there, Charles?
Yes, we have The Crown, Feud, Betty and Joan, Genius, The Handmaid's Tale, and Westworld. So this is going to be a very good matchup.
Yeah, this is a hot race, perhaps the most competitive race we've seen so far. Sam, how do you size this one up? We're comparing crowns to cowboy hats and holsters to I don't know where to start here.
I mean, I guess I don't even know, because usually it's like the most fanciful and detailed one wins, but they're kind of all that way. I feel like they're kind of all on equal footing. I would put Genius out of the running just because it seems like a less buzzy show than the but I guess I would go with The Crown.
Yeah, we can announce an upset in the drama movie mini stunts category. It goes to Luke Cage. Luke Cage,
nice.
Luke Cage wins that, a deserved win, and yeah, no. So congratulations to Luke Cage for, I think that's its only nomination for the Emmys. So it's batting at 100.
Hey, that's a good position to be in.
Yeah. So let's do costumes. Charles, what do you think about that?
You know, normally I would just think to go with The Crown. I think it's the most, it has the most exquisite costumes and the most details, especially because they're looking to capture accuracy as well. So I think that would probably work very well in its favor. Although there was also a lot of detailed accuracy in Feud, Betty and Joan. It's the Oscar episode where they recreated everything about the 1963 Oscars. So that could be a very big threat here as well.
I think Westworld might win this. You've got cowboys, you've got robots. The costumes are so so good in this show. Like, they're probably the most showiest costumes, I would say, of all. And you've got.
I feel like people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like people sort of idolize the look of, you know, the period look of The Crown. That just for costume design purposes, but I mean, Westworld, you know, very impressive. So if we're going with that theme of past winners, Michelle Clapton, one of the main costume designers, won last year for Game of Thrones, and she's nominated for The Crown.
Yeah.
So that could be in her favor.
Let's, while waiting for the winner of that category, jump through to the next award we're going to be looking at, which is the Narrative 1 Hour Production Design category. Production designer are things like the sets and the locations and things like that. Charles, do you want to run us through the nominees for that category?
Absolutely. We have The Handmaid's Tale, Penny Dreadful, 2 nominations for Westworld, one for their finale, The Bicameral Mind, and one for the original, and The Young Pope. One of the few categories that got nominated in. Yeah,
The Young Pope did not do that well at Emmy nominations. I think its buzz came a bit early in the Derby. What do you think here, Sam? Size this up for us.
This one I actually, because normally I would say Westworld. I feel like in a random, because
I'm just gonna cut you. I'm just gonna cut you off there, Sam. We can breaking news. Winner for best costumes. You guys called it the period fantasy costumes. It goes to The Crown. The Crown opens its Emmy account. So good news. Continue now, Sam.
Anyway, in a normal scenario, I would say Westworld, but I'm a little hesitant because I don't know if it'll unite voters around one of its nominees. So I think something like The Young Pope could actually win. History of this category going to anything other than Game of Thrones the past few years, but The Young Pope just, it looks stunning. It looks unlike anything else. So if Westworld splits its, then that could easily win.
And if you want to talk about, like a dream for a production designer, tell a production designer, okay, I want you to recreate the inside of Vatican City. That is like that's got to be like a dream to do.
Yeah. No, it's got a really good chance. Is there what could upset the young Pope? What's the spoiler here?
Penny Dreadful, it's never been a best drama contender, but it's a category previously, and that's also kind of, a very detailed and rich production design with it.
I can announce the winner in this category for 1 hour production design. The Crown has won.
Okay,
So
that was
yeah,
that was up against Feud, Betty and Joan, The Man in the High Castle, Masters of Sex, and Stranger Things.
Yes. So 1 hour production design goes to The Crown, which is now on its second Emmy win, which means I can put it on our Emmy scoreboard. It's made the gold board. Yeah, I'll put it on the board, and I'll display that in a second. I've got to cut out the thing that says The Crown on it now. So I'm doing that, guys. If you want to talk about whatever category we're up to.
Well, I'm not sure. Are they doing? The production design we were talking about comes later in the program.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell which one was which.
Wait.
There's too many.
Yeah, they're so similarly titled.
Okay, so we are now looking at limited series movie music composition, or just the score, just the music that you hear when you're watching a show. So, do you want to talk us through the nominees there, Sam or Sam, if you've got them?
If I can get to my tabs are out of order now, I think. Okay. Music composition for a series. The Crown.
It's limited series that we're doing.
Just kidding. See, why don't you do it? Because my tabs are now out of order.
Charles,
okay.
Take it away.
Sure thing. We have Fargo, Feud, Betty and Joan. 5 Came Back for the episode The Price of Victory. OJ Made in America, Part 3. Sweet Française, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and The White Helmets.
Boy. What do we think?
I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. I honestly can't remember the music from OJ Made in America, and I'm used to it.
Yeah, I don't remember the music in that being super powerful. 5 Came Back could be and sort of out of left field winner there.
I wonder if this is where you see the White Helmets, which was not able to win tonight, come through and rack up a win.
Well, we do have a winner. It's Fargo.
Fargo. Okay, so Fargo opening its account at the Emmys. And this is always the beginning of these shows. You see all these different shows winning, and we'll see in a second which ones are starting to rise, rack up those nominations, seeing if there's some trends across the branches. So our next category is going to be Best Children's Program. Charles, I know you love your children's programs. Do you want to read them out
cartoons. For us? They're very, very different. Okay.
I knew that would annoy you. So let's.
Los Angeles is going to be so much fun.
So let's hear him, Charles. Who are the nominees?
Well, it's actually interesting what they consider children's program. Girl Meets World, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade 90th Celebration, Once Upon a Sesame Street Christmas, School of Rock, and Star Wars Rebels.
I always think the good pick here is which one sounds the most sort of emotional or whatever. That could be Girl Meets World. Not that I know what that is. But boy, hard to go past Sesame Street as well. I grew up on Sesame Street as a kid. I love the street. I grew up on the street. What are your thoughts, Charles?
Well, first of all, I love that you call it the street. It sounds so gritty. It's like if David Simon wrote Sesame Street. But I'm with you on that. I would just go with Sesame Street. Sesame Street is one of the biggest Emmy champs of all time, both prime time with some of the stuff they've done, and absolutely at the daytime Emmys. So I think I would go with Sesame Street.
What do you think, Sam?
It's the safe bet. I mean, what I'd like to win is Star Wars Rebels. Maybe they can catapult on the Star Wars news and win, but I think Sesame Street is kind of for a Sesame special there.
Yeah, Sesame Street dominates at the daytime Emmys. It's not often you see it competing and batting at the prime time. Welcome to the majors, Sesame Street. Let's see how
One other thing that's interesting with Sesame Street at the daytime Emmys is that it was winning. I think they have a very similarly titled category, children's program at the daytime Emmys. Sesame Street was winning it so often they actually split it. They split the They created another category. I think they called it like outstanding preschool programming or something like that, because it was winning so often. So they wanted to give some others a chance.
Yeah, and could I just quickly just throw out there a bit of a gripe? I do think in the era of moving very to Elmo-centric, Sesame Street has lost a bit of its raw like edge, but still a good show. But I don't think it's at its peak. But anyway, I agree. I'm interested to see. Are you a fan of DuckTales, Charles?
Oh, I think I was when it was on, but I was I barely remember it.
Very excited. I'm very excited to see DuckTales back at the Emmys maybe next year.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be I'm pumped. What's our next category? We better jump ahead.
And we do have a winner. It is Once Upon a Sesame Street Christmas.
Yay!
Nice. Yay!
Good job. What's our next category? We're sort of doing okay with pacing. We're not getting too far ahead of them,
we're not getting
and they're not getting too far ahead of us. Half-hour production design.
Our nominees are The Big Bang Theory, Grace and Frankie, Mozart in the Jungle, Silicon Valley, Transparent, and Veep.
I sort of feel like Silicon Valley and Veep are probably a front runners here, not just because they're comedy series nominees, but, you know, sort of those White House political sort of sets and those technology Silicon Valley sort of sets, I think, sort of lend themselves quite well to this category. But what do you think, Sam?
Well, Transparent won last year, so I don't know if I will count out Transparent.
Yeah, good point. No, good points. Yeah.
Interestingly, Silicon Valley is for multiple episodes. It has 3 episodes, whereas the other, well, I guess Grace and Frankie has 2. So that could possibly help Silicon Valley pull ahead if they're being judged for more material.
I'm not sure if Veep has ever won this category before, has it?
No, it looks like it's Transparent. The year before that was Silicon Valley, and House of Lies took it before that.
Yeah. So if Veep was able to win here, it would show a strength for the show that we haven't seen before, which might be foreshadowing next week, perhaps. What's our category after this one? We've then got 1 hour contemporary or fantasy production design. What are the nominees there? I like Kim the Curry scale. We'll talk about the sets.
Which one is this?
1 hour contemporary fantasy production design.
Oh, that's the one that we were talking about with the Handmaid's Tale, Penny Dreadful. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
And we do have a winner.
Yes,
Veep
the winner
wins.
is Joe. Veep wins. So Veep gets onto the board and has won in a category it has not won before it. So perhaps showing a strength and bolstering its chances for best comedy series, perhaps.
Yeah, just cementing it.
Cementing it. Yes. So very good. And the next one, I would not rule out The Handmaid's Tale in the next category. I know you guys are talking about the young Pope being a strong contender. Just think I wonder if this is they're sort of bare bones sets, The Handmaid's Tale, but that's sort of its strength, I feel. They've kept it very simple but powerful.
Well, also, when you, and I think it's the same with Penny Dreadful also, these are two shows where when you watch the, when you watch the show just from looking at the sets that they've constructed for this, it's very bleak. And especially with The Handmaid's Tale, it's introducing you to this new world of just utter hopelessness. And that's what everything feels like when you watch it. That feeling just envelops you, and the sets are a huge contributor to that atmosphere.
Yeah. No, so it'll be interesting to see where they focus on there. We've talked about that category a bit already, so let's jump to the next one, which we are switching over to multi-camera cinematography. Would you like to take us through those nominees, Sam?
Sure. We have Two Broke Girls, The Ranch, and Superior Donuts.
Yeah. What do you think there? How do, like, Two Broke Girls? I think Two Broke Girls.
I feel like Two Broke Girls. I think it's odd because the past nominees are like Two and a Half Men has won this, other has won this a lot, and then it went to Mike and Molly. That's Two Broke Girls is kind of the most popular of the shows. Hear a group voting on it.
And I'll just cut you off there, Sam. I can announce that the winner for best contemporary fantasy production design at the Emmys goes to The Handmaid's Tale. So what we're talking about there, that understated yet powerful production design team has taken that out. And I'm actually glad, because I think often sometimes awards go to the more flashy, showy, over-the-top things. And I think I like it when restraint is rewarded at awards. And in performances, in costumes, in production design, I think it's a really, really lovely win there.
And I think it's just interesting. We do have, Stranger Things is on the board. The Crown has won 2. Handmaid's Tale now has won. Westworld so far does not have anything.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think we've seen a lot of the categories where I would expect Westworld to win. I don't think they've been like hugely upset anywhere other than maybe main title theme music. So
yeah, I thought they were going to win that theme music, but
yeah, I think there's still hope. I think there's still hope for Westworld. And here is our board, a board update. We've got The Crown and the Veep on the two category there, and see if they can climb up as we go. Saturday Night Live yesterday got 3, and they're today back with some of the guest acting races. So they could, they're sort of starting with a bit of a leg up after yesterday's performance at the Creative Arts Part 1. What's our next category to talk about? We talked a bit about cinematography.
It's a guest actor in a comedy, but we do have a winner in our cinematography, and it's The Ranch. It's The Ranch from Netflix.
Oh, there we go. The Ranch is one. So we've got next coming out. So we've got guest actor comedy, do we?
Yes, we do. And
this is huge. Okay, run us through the nominees, Charles.
All right. This is exciting. Okay. Riz Ahmed for Girls, Matthew Rhys for Girls, Dave Chappelle, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Tom Hanks are each nominated for their guest turns on Saturday Night Live, and Hugh Laurie for Veep.
Never won an Emmy, Hugh Laurie, after 7 seasons or 8 seasons as Dr. Gregory House. I think he got 7 nominations. He was often the front runner on at least 2 or 3 of those years. He was the front runner to win always lost out. He's here competing for Veep, a show that has done very well at the Emmys the past couple of years, but has not done well in the guest acting races in terms of wins. Can Hugh Laurie be their first guest acting winner for Veep? What do you think, Sam?
I think he's not going to.
It's fine. Who is going to win?
I don't know, because they adjusted the voting for the acting races, and I just don't know if people are super aware that he never won, because you just assume he did win for House. And popular vote for like Tom Hanks or Riz Ahmed, who had a really great year of TV. I put Tom Hanks, I think, as my final thing, because I just had Hugh Laurie was somehow going to remain Emmyless.
Yeah, I've picked Hugh Laurie, but I'm not very confident in that prediction. I think Tom Hanks, so likable, such a great turn on SNL. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda had a great episode. I think his rap opening really strikes a chord. He's a very cool guy. He had an Oscar nomination this year. He did well at the Tonys. As you said, Riz Ahmed, Matthew Rhys, who is in The Americans as well, and got a nomination for that. So
both double nominees this year.
Both double nominees this year. And Dave Chappelle, sort of his return to television and to the orbit was very exciting and something new. I could really see anyone winning this.
Yeah, and also to something that should be mentioned about Dave Chappelle, Chappelle Show was nominated once or twice at the Emmys, but never won for its 2 seasons. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think of some of the sketches that he did on the show, and they're still so relevant and funny today. And to think that the Emmy voters were completely clueless on it. And I think we have a winner. It's Dave Chappelle!
Dave Chappelle has won. I would say this is a big upset, but as we were talking about it just then, you can work backwards sort of the logic as to how he was able to win that. Particularly at the time he came on that show, was very sort of politically pertinent with the Trump election and everything. I think it makes a lot of sense, a Dave Chappelle win, and a huge shock. And I just feel bad for Hugh Laurie. Sam, what's your initial reaction?
I just knew he was gonna. I feel horrible for Hugh Laurie, but that's gonna ruin everyone's predictions. But there was just something, because I feel like voters think, oh, well, of course Hugh Laurie won for House. Of course we gave him one. And don't actually realize that he's Emmyless. So they took the opportunity. I mean, great for Dave Chappelle to have an Emmy after not winning.
And it's interesting, on that episode of SNL, he actually did that one sketch where he brought back all of his famous Chappelle Show characters. Yeah. So, it's kind of, what's the word? Revisionist justice, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So, arguably, Hugh Laurie missed out, but it went to someone else who was overdue. Yeah. Just in a different way. So, we've now got... Look, Hugh Laurie, he's a good actor. He'll be back. He'll be back at the Emmys, I'm sure.
Next season for Veep.
Next season for Veep, probably. So, boy, oh boy. We let's do one more category, guys, and I'll invite the next crop of people to come and join us. What is the next category?
Next category is sound mixing for comedy or drama series 1 hour. Nominees are Better Call Saul, House of Cards, Mr. Robot, Stranger Things, and Westworld. And we have a winner in that category as well. It is Westworld. They are on the board.
Westworld is on the board. There we go. Oh, and
finally.
I got to remember, Dave Chappelle winning. I moved Saturday Night Live up to 4 wins.
4. Yep.
There we go. Westworld is on the board. Sam, you've been really excited for Westworld this year. Give us your reaction.
I think that makes a lot of sense as a sound mixing winner with all the robotic stuff happening. There were lots of action-packed sequences, so for to win in.
Fantastic. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask for to enter the panel Zach, Tony, and Tom. going to come on now. Charles and Sam, stay where you are right now because I don't want to be left on my own here. And when they're all on, I'll ask you to leave. Before you do leave, do you guys have any final thoughts or comments you want to make, Charles?
I mean, congratulations to Dave Chappelle. I mean, that's a huge upset, but that's a welcome one.
Yeah. Sam?
I now think per most years at the Emmys, we're going to just have crazy upsets in all 4 categories, and we're all going to be wrong about them.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hello, here we go. So we've got Zach and Tony on now. So I might ask Sam and Charles if you could leave the chat, and we'll continue on without you. Thank you so much for your contributions this evening, guys.
See you later, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye. Okay, now joined by Tony, Tom, and Zach to break down the Emmys. There are probably categories getting thrown at us at the moment.
Yeah, there's. Did you guys hit music composition?
We have not. So throw straight in there, Tony. And
I don't have the nominees up in front of me, but we do have a winner in that category.
okay, and the winner is
The winner is House of Cards.
House of Cards with its first win of the night. And
I think it's 3rd or 4th win in that category.
yeah, so they love the music, they love the score there. Does anyone have the list of nominees there in front of them?
I've been using the
Oh no,
website.
I can't hear you, Tom. Can't hear you, Tom. Are you mute? Check if you're mute, Tom. If not, you might have to shut down, restart your computer, and join the chat again. Okay, so
we are up to comedy guest actress right now.
okay, let's talk about that. That's important. This is a big winner. Will this be a shocker like Dave Chappelle? Can you run us through the nominees, Tony?
Those nominees are Wanda Sykes for Blackish, Carrie Fisher for Catastrophe, Becky Ann Baker for Girls, Angela Bassett for Master of None, and Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy each as hosts of Saturday Night Live.
Zach, what do you think here?
Well, I've been saying for a few months now, this is probably between Melissa McCarthy and Carrie Fisher, with Angela Bassett kind of lurking in 3rd place as a spoiler. I'm still thinking that, you know, it's really interesting, the Dave Chappelle win that we just saw, because I think we were all betting on Hugh Laurie, not just because he was Emmy-less, but because he was the apple in a basket of oranges and that he was the lone nominee from his category. And we all assumed that vote splitting was going to be in effect. But quite clearly, it's not in every category. So I think that maybe we're going to have to rethink some of our predictions if we're basing it off of vote splitting.
Yeah, I would quickly say that I'd just throw out there as if we see this huge shot win, maybe a Wanda Sykes win as someone who represents very broad comedy. Like, you know, like I do think with the Dave Chappelle win, I might go, oh boy, where are the shocks? Where are the surprises going to come from? Tom, do you want to weigh in on guest actress in a comedy? And we can see if your mic works.
Nope.
It does not. Have it restart your computer, Tom, and come in one more time. Let's see if that works. Okay. I have no idea what he's saying, but he looks like he's being a good sport about it. Tony, what are your thoughts here?
I've been predicting Angela Bassett for the longest time, but I think Zach's right on. I think this most likely comes down to if one of the Saturday Night Live people is going to win, I think it's probably going to be Melissa McCarthy. I just wonder if the sentiment factor, the Emmys are notoriously non-sentimental, which could hurt Carrie Fisher. But right now I'm going with Angela Bassett, and I'm sure we'll get an answer here momentarily.
Yeah, no, we on tenterhooks waiting for the results of Best Comedy Guest Actress. So yeah, we've got Fisher, Bassett. I could see a shock here. I think that's a very good point, Tony. The Emmys are not always the most sentimental group, and that could, because I think most people are predicting Carrie Fisher here. I think she's the sort of sentimental front runner. Zach, what was your reaction to the Dave Chappelle win?
Well, I was surprised. I mean, I think that everyone was figuring that if there was going to be a winner from Saturday Night Live, it was going to be Tom Hanks. But as I said in one of our previous Slugfests, don't count out Dave Chappelle, because that was a very popular episode, and he's a very popular comedian and very popular television personality who had a big resurgence this year. I mean, don't forget, he also had 2 Netflix specials that came out earlier in January, I think. So, you know, it's been a very good season for him, and they could have just been rewarding him for his body of work this year. So I'm not that surprised. I am. It looked like Veep was going to be on a roll there for a while with that win for production design and casting. So it does feel like a minor snag on their part that they couldn't pull this off, but I'm not worried about its chances at the primetime ceremony by any means.
Yeah, and to be honest, like Veep has not won guest acting race before.
No.
It is not. I don't know if that's just a anomaly, if that says anything. Tom, do you want to weigh in on guest actress in a comedy?
Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It worked. Good.
There we go.
Wanda Sykes was terrific in that Lemons episode of Blackish. Carrie Fisher has this sentiment. I think the best performance is Angela Bassett in Master of None. But Melissa McCarthy's Sean Spicer has bled over into pop culture. And I don't know whether people are going to want to resist her or not. So I'm probably going to say Melissa McCarthy, but Angela Bassett would thrill me.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's our category coming up after this one?
It is comedy variety stunt coordination.
Okay, and who are the nominees there, Tony?
Those nominees are Angie Tribeca, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Saturday Night Live, Shameless, and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I believe, has won this the last couple of years, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. So that'd be your safe money. Does anyone see an upset there?
It certainly has the most opportunity for stunts.
Yeah. This police show comedy, they definitely take full advantage of that. Like Angie Tribeca could win. Like there's some good stunts there too. And then a show that's like Shameless is then a drama series. They do stunts probably in a very different way. But the comedies do afford themselves a way to do like sort of the more Brooklyn Nine-Nine type comedies able to do more slapstick stuff, more over the top stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. Saturday Night Live. I wonder if the stunt coordination is all like Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer on the roving podium.
Yeah. Because and there might be something like about what they do on SNL that's less sort of impressive on one level because they can't do the big things with all these stunt doubles and stuff that you could on a Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but is more impressive because it's live. So it'll be interesting how that factors in.
Can I just say something while we're waiting? It's kind of off topic, but I wanted to. I wasn't on for this win, but we look to these awards as an indicator of how things are going to go on the primetime ceremony, and I think that for anybody who was predicting The Handmaid's Tale, its win for production design over much showier programs might be a good sign for that show. I'm going
to cut you off right there, Zach, because I can announce that the winner for Best Guest Actress in a Comedy Series has gone to Melissa McCarthy for Saturday Night Live, which brings SNL up to their 5th win.
Wow.
Their 5th win of the year, of this year. And as Amanda, I think it was Amanda said yesterday that is that the most Saturday Night Live's ever won in a season? So I
think it's tied. I think they need to hit 6.
So if they hit 6, they set a new record for themselves. Obviously, other shows have won 6 in a year before. Sorry, Zach, back to you, but we had some breaking news there.
I actually had just finished my thoughts, so.
Okay, great, fantastic.
Perfect timing.
You're saying it looks good for Handmaid's Tale because they're able to do production design. That's a good tea leaf.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that we expected something like The Crown to win for production design and costumes. It's really good that
we have another winner.
Okay.
Comedy variety stunts has gone to Shameless.
Shameless.
Oh.
Open account for the night. There you go.
It's first win in a while.
Yeah. So that's good news for Shameless. What is our next category that's coming up?
Scripted, interactive.
It is outstanding creative achievement in interactive media within a scripted program.
Okay, let's hear the nominees. Who's got them?
Those nominees are The Man in the High Castle, the Mr. Robot virtual reality experience, The Simpsons, Stranger Things, and Westworld.
Oh boy.
It'll be interesting to see if either Westworld or Stranger Things wins this. I think that might. Now, correct me if we talked about this yesterday, because if Westworld wins this, it is it goes on the board for that show. But if Stranger Things wins, it does not for them. I mean, it doesn't factor into their total win counts, right?
Right.
Because it's a different,
It's listed as a separate program, so this doesn't necessarily include. This doesn't go in with their win total.
But it does count for Westworld.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So the board. I need to make sure I get it right on the board.
But as we talked about yesterday, I think with another short form category that had to do with shows, but not with shows. It does, however, kind of give us an indication of what shows they like, even if it doesn't go for an overall Stranger Things win.
Yeah.
It kind of would signal they like that show. So
yeah. Could you perhaps, Zach, move your screen or something so you don't have that big light over your head? I'm finding that very distracting.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, you won't see the top of my head.
And we have a winner.
And the winner is Tony.
The winner is Westworld.
Westworld. So that counts as a win for Westworld. Now that's its second win, and therefore it will enter the scoreboard as well. Would one of you like to read out the nominees for the next category while I cut up the Westworld logo?
That's for
commercial.
Best commercial. Yeah, I've got it right here.
Thank you.
CallingJohnMalkovich.com, Squarespace, LoveCam, Ad Council, Love Has No Labels, We Are America, Ad Council, Love Has No Labels, Why I March, Women's March on Washington, and Year in Search 2016 Google.
So this is best commercial, correct?
Yes, I don't watch commercials. I'm just going to go for the John Malkovich one.
Huge snub for the Pepsi Caitlyn Jenner commercial here. Where is that? It's going to go. Sorry, Tom, what was that, Tom? We can't hear you again, Tom. What's happening?
We lost Tom again. I think it's the heat.
Yeah, it's the heat. Yeah. So, Tom, we can't hear you. I can see you talking, though. So, I don't know, either turn yourself off mute or exit and come back in, and we'll see if we can hear you. So, what is the... I heard Love Has No Labels a couple of times. That sounds like an Emmy Beatty sort of thing to me.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm lost on this category, I hate to say.
Okay, let's skip to the next one. I don't know how many people are tuning into this live web show because they want to hear us discuss the best commercial category. The next one, the one after commercial is going to be big, and it's special visual effects. So
yes,
what are the special...
That's going to be a great category.
The nominees are American Gods, Black Sails, Man in the High Castle, Vikings, and Westworld. I'm going to have to go with Westworld on this one. Although, I mean, all of these nominees have great special effects. But, I mean, it being the only series nominee in the category, I think might give it a leg up here.
What do you think, Tony?
I think so, too, although I would absolutely love if American Gods won this, because that show was so visually, splendid, particularly in some of the if they submitted the finale. I don't know, are the episodes listed for this category?
Yes, they are. For Westworld, it was. Oh wait, you said for American Gods?
Yeah.
It was the Bone Orchard. I'm not sure which.
I'm not sure which one that is.
Yeah,
I'd have to look.
Yeah.
American Gods could be an upset here because the visual effects in that show are so impressive and like really sort of, yeah, they're huge special visual effects. And but I do think it's probably between that and Westworld, I would guess.
The Bone Orchard is the first episode of American Gods.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, and Westworld submitted, in case anyone is curious.
I think it's the Bicamo Mind, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and that is the finale.
Yeah, so there's some good special effects there too.
Yeah, I think that's an award that people would expect for Westworld to win. I also would have expected it to win for production design, but go Handmaid's.
While we're waiting for the result for this, let's go to let's quickly pop over to the next category, which is supporting visual effects, best special supporting visual effects.
Those nominees are The Crown, Genius, Gotham, The Handmaid's Tale, and Taboo.
Well, I will just be.
And we have a winner for best commercial. It is the Zach Law's bump still in effect with Calling John Malkovich.
Okay, good call, Zach.
Thank you. Well, I do remember watching that. That was the one commercial I remember having watched, and that was very amusing. For supporting visual effects, well, I will just be tickled pink if The Handmaid's Tale wins there, because I think that'll be a strong show of support in its favor. But I guess Gotham would have to be the odds-on favorite, wouldn't you think? I mean, that seems to be the most apparently visual effectsy show.
Yeah, I like that it got this category for supporting sort of visual effects for shows that's not the centerpiece of their show, but it often does mean you look to which show has the most obvious visual effects for a show that doesn't have heaps of visual effects, and I think Gotham does sort of fall in that league. What do you think? What do you think, Tony?
I think that's probably the best way to go. Although, if I remember correctly, I think Taboo submitted their pilot, which was a very, very looking at how Tom Hardy's character got into the predicament that he was in. It's a very dark, kind of along the same lines as Gotham. Which episode of The Crown is Windsor?
I don't remember.
Isn't that the one where they go to Windsor?
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Is it Windsor? The one.
While Zach's looking at that, we can say that the winner for special visual effects is Westworld.
It's Westworld moving itself up to 3 wins. It's on 3 at the moment, chasing down Saturday Night Live on 5, and risen to the top of our drama series contenders. As I said before at the beginning of the night, Westworld is competing in 13 or 14, I think, categories today. I'll double 14 categories today, which is the most of any series. So it has the most opportunities to climb that ladder.
To answer your question, guys, I believe that the episode of The Crown that is Windsor is the one where Philip is trying to fly. There are some visual effects in that one. Very impressive.
That is quite a good one. Yes. So yeah, very good. After best visual supporting visual effects, we will have the award for limited series movie hairstyling.
Yes.
Do you have the nominees in front of you, Zach?
I'm just getting them right now. Do you have them, Tony? Oh, here it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Okay. American Horror Story Roanoke, Big Little Lies, Fargo, Feud, Betty and Joan, and Genius. I gotta guess this is between Feud and Genius, just because those are the most apparently, you know, I mean, they're recreating real people, so I would think that's the flashiest work of the two. I'd give the edge probably to Feud. I expect Genius.
Winner for the winner for outstanding supporting visual effects is Gotham.
Gotham.
Right.
No.
Very nice.
That was expected.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can, Tom.
Okay, great.
Tom, you can talk us through the next category, which we just read out the nominees for, and we're starting to talk about it. Which one was it again? I forgot. There's so many.
Hairstyling.
Hairstyling.
Hairstyling. I agree. I'm leaning. I think it is between Feud and Genius. I'm going for Feud because there's more hair in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vote for the hair. The more hair wins. I like it.
And
After that,
and in just in the Oscar episode alone, you know, with Jessica Lange having the kind of the silver streaks through the hair to match her dress. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, can we now? The category after that one is going to be music supervision, which I believe is that a new category at the Emmys this year.
That is a brand new category at the Emmys this year.
No precedent. We're in uncharted waters.
That's right,
and it's a combination. It's a combination. It's got a good combination of comedies and dramas.
So the nominees there are Better Call Saul, Big Little Lies, Girls, Master of None, and Stranger Things. I got to say, I mean, this is a really stacked category. I mean, when I first saw Better Call Saul, I thought, well, that'll win. And I see Big Little Lies, and I see Master of None.
That'll win, yeah.
So, you know, this is a real toss-up here. I mean, this could be one of any of these five. Like you said, we have no precedent for what's going to win here. But I think I'm going to go with Master of None.
Just to cut you off there, Zach, we have a winner for Best Movie Mini Hairstyling, and as projected by Gold Derby, it is going to Feud. It is going to Feud, has won, and that is, I believe, their first win.
That is their first win of the night.
So on the music division, I think I would go with Stranger Things. I think it won main title theme music. It shows that within the music branch of the Academy, there's support for it. And as you say, all these nominees could win in another year, perhaps. Or
I'm throwing a dart at the board here.
What do you think, Tom? And
I'm inclined towards Stranger Things because very often when I think of the show, I think of its music. But this is an interesting category, not just because it's new, but it's one of those categories that dramas and comedies are competing together. So we have different playing fields.
Yes.
So yeah. So Stranger Things on a hunch, but I'm a big fan of Master of None. So that'd be nice if it came through.
Yeah. And again, we're really in uncharted waters here. Nothing will completely shock us because, firstly, the music supervision, all these shows is great, but also because we don't have any precedent. We don't know what kind of shows win this category, typically. The next award after that one is going to be for the Series Sound Editing Award. Tony, do you have those nominees in front of you?
I do. Those nominees are Black Sails, Gotham, Homeland, Stranger Things, and Westworld.
What do you think, Tom?
You and I have done so many of those Westworld after shows. When I think of Westworld, very often I think of sound because there's a lot of, those interiors, the exteriors, and all of that. I just as a guess, I'm saying Westworld.
Yeah, that'd be my lean too. Zach, what do you think?
I think that's about right. Westworld or possibly Stranger Things. But, Westworld, you've got, guns and you've got trains and you've got all sorts of things that have to be worked in there. So I would have to go with sound. Yeah. I would have to go with Westworld for that.
Dissenting opinion. Tony, do you have a dissenting opinion?
I would love to, but but no, you know, as we've seen with the Oscars, you know, sometimes they go with there's sometimes just an obvious choice, whether it's, you know, the loudest or the one with the most dynamic type of stuff. I will say that the particular episode that Stranger Things submitted is the finale, where they're going back and forth between the Upside Down and the fighting the Demogorgon. So I would not necessarily. It's really, really showy stuff. So I would not count out Stranger Things. I think this could be an interesting. I think Stranger Things could pull an upset here.
That would be interesting. Zach, would you agree that Stranger Things is one that can beat it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, I think that it's going to really signal which show is really popular with Emmy voters overall. You know, I mean, if Stranger Things, it's going to be interesting to see what the vote tallies are at the end of the night, you know, and even then it might not give us an indication of what show is ultimately going to win drama series.
Right.
Yeah, because tonight Westworld's gone in to 14 categories. Stranger Things has entered the night with sorry, I'm bringing the wrong side before, with 13 categories. Oh no, 12 categories. So there's a 2-category difference. Westworld is at least going to be eligible in 2 more races tonight than Stranger Things is. So it's got a slight leg up in that head-to-head race, and it's at the moment got a 2 Emmy lead. But that might change any minute now as we're waiting for those next results to come in. I do like tonight is shaping up to be maybe a bit of a Stranger Things versus Westworld night. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And it all comes down to what wins for best drama casting, because that's what I'm going to use as an indicator to ultimately predict.
Yes, and on Gold Derby, the Gold Derby list that we've released, that is number 38, category 38 tonight is drama casting.
They're just going to have us in suspense for the whole night.
Yeah, for a long time.
I like how they got comedy casting out of the way because they were just like, all right, you all know the Veep's going to win, so it's just...
So we've got are we up to half hour?
We have a winner.
Yes,
we have a winner for music supervision. The winner is Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies with its first win.
You know, that's not surprising when you think about it, because I mean, the music is so much a part of that show, and you know, I think of that opening credit sequence in particular, and you know, I mean, so much of the music throughout that Shailene Woodley is listening to. So, good win for them, and it might help point the way towards a victory in limited series overall.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, no, not a huge shock there. And as we said, no precedent in that category. We were sort of throwing darts there. But yeah, so unfortunate for Stranger Things though, that was looking to get its second win of the night there.
Well, we'll see if it gets it in sound editing.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about a half hour?
Yeah, let's talk about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a half hour sound mixing. That sounds perfect.
Okay. Do you have those, Tony, or?
Yes, sound mixing for a half-hour comedy or drama series, including animation. Those nominees are Master of None, Modern Family, got to scroll to the next page, Mozart in the Jungle, Silicon Valley, and Veep.
Well, you know, at the Oscars, they often go with, in this category, they often go with movies that have a lot of music in them. So maybe Mozart in the Jungle would have a leg up here.
Its inclusion is interesting because, you know, we have a lot of Master of None in Silicon Valley and Veep, and to go out of your way for Mozart in the Jungle might indicate a base of support.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah,
so
like
Modern Family win.
Yeah. So, like, look, like if a Veep wins here, we'll show that Veep is sort of overperforming tonight.
Yeah, because I think its tally last year was just 3 wins, was it not, Matt?
Yeah.
So,
it wasn't huge.
Right. So I mean, it could just double its wins to win.
Yeah. You'd think going into tonight, I think like it'll probably, like I said, casting's what Veep wants to win probably. If it doesn't win anything else, it's not going to be the end of the world. They're not a show that's expected to win a whole lot of.
Okay, we have we have an interesting one in series sound editing. The winner is Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, which moves up to 2, which gets it on the board.
On the board,
beating the trains
Westworld.
and the guns and the robots of Westworld are a few little plucky kids racing around in and out of the Upside Down. So
fantastic.
It's a good sign for that show overall.
It's had some wins tonight and some key wins against Westworld, although you could argue that maybe with all its nominations, Westworld has sort of coming into tonight is the big dog to take down, but maybe next week it's more your Crowns and your Handmaid's Tale that Stranger Things is going to need to sort of try to outgun.
Well, I think that, you know, in the case of both Westworld and Stranger Things, I mean, they're both really technically, you know, I don't want to say technically proficient shows, you know, that rely upon a lot of, you know, sound and cinematography and things like that. So it's not surprising that they're going to be duking it out in some of these categories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think at the main awards, especially in the writing and directing categories, is where you're going to see a lot of Handmaid's Tale, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
See, someone's talking like they voted in those categories.
Yeah, because Tom is an Emmy voter from the writers branch. So
we got a ringer in here.
We've got someone got an insider.
I can talk about it now. The ballots are in. I can't sway any votes, but I will admit I did vote for The Handmaid's Tale in drama, and in comedy I voted for Thanksgiving for Master of None. I just thought they just both of them really stood out to me.
We have a winner for half-hour sound mixing, and that winner is Mozart in the Jungle.
Well, there you go.
Mozart in the Jungle. Yeah, we thought that might come through there. So the Emmys have caught up with us now, so we better move on to the next category, which is limited series or movie cinematography.
That is Yves Bilonger for Big Little Lies, Seamus McGarvey for Black Mirror Nosedive, Dana Gonzalez for Fargo, Fred Elms for The Night Of, and Luca Bagazzi for The Young Pope. Lots of movie guys here, actually. Yeah. So I'm kind of I would think to go with either The Night Of or The Young Pope, but I think if Big Little Lies wins here, it's going to be a really good show of support for it.
Yeah. I think you're exactly right.
Yeah, I think The Night Of and The Young Pope feel like movies in a way. The movie, the cinematography, the various shades, dark shades in The Night Of, and those spectacular vistas of Vatican City in The Young Pope really did not feel like a television series. It felt like you were watching a movie.
I feel like because of that, I'm leaning towards The Night Of, which is a show that had more support amongst the Academy than The Young Pope.
That's true.
Yeah. Tony, do you have a thought on this race?
I think Zach's exactly right. If they go with Big Little Lies, it's just, I think we can start to see the beginnings of its strength going into next week. But I think The Night Of deserves it, and I think that would be a really interesting. I mean, it's interesting as we're getting through some of these categories, we're going to see, you know, the next 4 categories are all limited series categories. So we're going to see how these different nominees go up against each other.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, Fred Elms, the guy who's up for The Night Of, he was David Lynch's cinematographer for many years. So he shot Eraserhead and Blue Velvet and Wild at Heart. So it would be a nice little win for a David Lynch guy in a David Lynch year.
Let's continue rolling with these, as you said, Tony, the limited series races, because we've got sort of a big chunk of them coming up. The next one is going to be the limited series or movie sound editing awards. Do you have the nominees for those?
Yes, those nominees are American Horror Story Roanoke, Fargo, Genius, The Night of, and Sherlock. So this is one category where Big Little Lies will not figure in because, I don't think anybody, that show didn't necessarily have the elements requiring a lot of sound editing. I would kind of lean towards something like The Night of, or maybe this is some place where Roanoke could get some love.
Yeah,
it's definitely the most, I think, obvious winner, American Horror Story. But I wouldn't be surprised if The Night of wins, and maybe that can show that it's going to give Big Little Lies a run for its money in the series race.
The Sherlock out of the blue nomination kind of surprised me, but I'm inclined to go with The Night of as well.
Yeah, I think maybe The Night of will go here, but it's not, I don't think, by any means a lot. Let's go to the next category, which is best limited series, movie series, prosthetic makeup.
Do you have those, Zach?
I just got them, yeah.
You're right.
American Horror Story Roanoke, Penny Dreadful. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong. That was
yeah, this is right.
No, you're right.
I'm sorry.
You're right.
Penny Dreadful, Saturday Night Live, The Walking Dead, and Westworld. I got to think this is The Walking Dead, but maybe Westworld would win this.
Yeah, I think The Walking Dead's a safe money here. Always put money on Zombies for Makeup awards.
Yeah.
Makeup, blood, guts, tearing flesh.
Yeah.
Why not?
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Now watch us all be wrong and Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Well, sure, yeah, they have submitted the Alec Baldwin episode, so that's
yes.
An equally scary makeup job to The Walking Dead is the SNL team that did the Alec Baldwin episode. The next, let's just go to the next category, which is limited series movie sound mixing. And that sort of finishes up our limited series little chunk we've got here in the ceremony. Yep.
They are Big Little Lies, Fargo, Genius, Sherlock, The Lying Detective, and The Night of. I'd probably go with Fargo in this one. With all those bullets and things like that, but perhaps The Night of could upset it. If Big Little Lies wins this, then we're just going to have to throw in the towel and say that's winning limited series.
Yeah.
Could I also say that, like, I actually think, like, Fargo also has a chance at the cinematography race. Just dovetailing back to that, I think, like, that's the kind of show that could surprise there. We sort of think, oh, it's been around for a couple of years, like, it'll probably go to something else this year, and then just Fargo wins best cinematography. Anyway, yeah. So, Tom, do you have an opinion on the sound mixing?
I've been picking The Night of for all the sound awards, so I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, size is good just to.
And we have a winner for
Fantastic.
movie miniseries cinematography. The winner is The Night of.
The Night of, which is that their first? Yeah, is that their first win of the night?
That is their first win of the night.
Yeah.
Go Frederick Elms.
The Night of, which is competing in 5 categories this evening, and does not, I don't think, competes against itself in any of them. So it's sort of got 5 sort of non-vote splitting shots tonight.
I just say that is a really good win, I gotta say. I mean, the cinematography in that show was so evocative and cinematic. I mean, it really did feel like a movie. And so congratulations to Mr. Frederick Elms.
I think it also shows that it's not going to just be a straight walk for Big Little Lies. Especially seeing these two in the same category on this one. Cinematography is a big one, so that could be interesting to see how that proceeds forward.
I'm actually anticipating that the miniseries race is going to crystallize into a Big Little Lies versus the night of, and feud is going to drop down. And it's going to be the whether, because I just feel like these two products feel like more cinematic beasts.
Mm-hmm. That's it's and I feel like the heat is now off feud in terms of the fire underneath it. I think that right now it shifted to Big Little Lies, but this is very encouraging for the night of.
And look, and remember when Homeland won Best Drama Series? That was an older show that people thought the heat had gone off of, and yet it came back. And I think I could see the night of having a similar path to the Best Miniseries race.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, we're about to see a few more results that could go the night of's way, that could add a bit of steam to the engine. So
I sure hope so. I loved that show.
Yeah, it's really good. I like a lot of it. It was a really strong year for miniseries.
Absolutely.
They're all fantastic nominees.
And they're so different. That's what I love about them.
Yeah.
I would have found it very hard to vote between Big Little Lies and The Night of, because I like them both for such different reasons. So I would have found that a very tough vote. Did you vote in that race, Tom?
No, I didn't. I can vote in program categories. Best comedy, best drama.
You guys, we got a winner. We got another. Oh, yep. And movie mini sound editing goes to The Night of.
So here we go. It could be coming on. Sorry, Tom. Did you vote for writing for a mini series?
I did, and
How did you approach that?
Oh my gosh, I forget. I believe I voted for Big Little Lies.
There you go. Yeah. Was it a tough vote?
That was a tough vote. That was a real tough vote. That was the roughest of the writing categories. Because you just sit there and they're all so different and they're all so skilled, and you just what I try and do is figure out what was the biggest challenge. Yeah,
it'd be great to see David E. Kelly back up there at the Emmys too. That'll be exciting. However, I didn't realize it was David E. Kelly writing till the second episode when I saw the credits. I was obviously living in a
also keep in mind David E. Kelly has not won a writing award since I think L.A. Law, because he didn't win one for Picket Fences or Ally McBeal or The Practice. So it's been over 2 decades since he's won a writing award.
And it's very interesting that I think that those earlier shows were David E. Kelly shows. Here, Big Little Lies was sold as other people's shows, and it was a surprise to me that David E. Kelly was involved.
I think it's probably the best thing he's ever written, to be honest with you. So
we have a winner for movie miniseries prosthetic makeup, and that goes to American Horror Story Roanoke.
Oh,
okay. So they're on the board now, or not on my board. You need 2 wins to get onto my board, but they are on the board of winning an Emmy this year.
And so we have one more limited series category for this little run.
Yeah. After that, we are going to look at a series race. So that's a pretty big one. Short form comedy or drama series. So does someone want to go through the nominations there?
Yes.
I am pulling it up. Do you have it?
I do, yes. We got Brown Girls, Fear of the Walking Dead, Passage, Hack into Broad City, Los Pollos Hermanos Employee Training, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Slingshot. I haven't seen any of these, so I'm just going to go for Los Pollos Hermanos Employee Training because that is the one that I want to watch the most.
Why not? Because when I saw those nominees, that was the one that made me laugh.
Yeah, because I can just see it in my head right now.
Yes,
you know.
God, can you imagine being in a training class led by Gus Fring? Oh my God.
Plus, I want Better Call Saul to win something. I know this won't count towards its wins, but by God, it's about time.
Do they have the producers listed on that, Zach?
Yes, and it would be Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, the creators of Better Call Saul. So yeah, that would be an Emmy for those guys.
Yeah.
As well as other people.
Yeah. So, you know, I like that one. I could see, was there a Broad City nominee amongst those?
Yes.
I can see that
Broad
winning.
City. Did that win last year? I can't
remember, but I could see that winning. They've it's very they do great work, the Broad City team. So and I think there's respect for them amongst the industry. So I could see that doing coming up. Yeah, the last winner we've had is American Horror Story. What's the award after that one? We have single camera hairstyling.
We have.
Sorry, go Zach.
We have another winner for movie mini sound mixing. The winner is The Night Of.
Very excited for The Night Of on the panel, and that moves it on the scoreboard up to 3 wins. Oh. So it's up to 3. It's leveled with Westworld now, and is, I believe, I'm just checking my board, the only miniseries so far to get its second win.
Yeah, multiple wins.
To get multiple wins so far.
That's terrific.
There's still some more limited series things coming up though. Got a bit of picture editing, another makeup award, so casting. So it's not over yet.
But this is a really good sign that people remember this show. That came out over a year ago. This is a really good sign for them. Yeah.
I really think it's going to be a coin toss between it and Big Little Lies next week. That's my thought at the moment. Single camera hairstyling, the Mad Men Award. This was their bellwether that they would, even when they weren't winning anything else, would always been hairstyling on their way to drama series. Perhaps. So who was nominated this year?
We have 3 drama series nominees in this category. We have The Crown, Penny Dreadful, Stranger Things, Vikings, and Westworld.
Did you say Penny Dreadful as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to dispense with the most hair wins, because I think Vikings probably has the most hair.
It's not very stylish, though.
No,
very stylish hair.
It's probably a lot of work to make it look that ratty.
I think The Crown.
I think The Crown most likely.
It feels like it.
Do you think Stranger Things could win for that buzz cut on Millie Bobby Brown?
Well, what's interesting is because Stranger Things is a period show, and you've got all that big '80s hair, the bowl cuts on the guys, and if they're going based on prestige, on the prettiest hair, then they're probably going to go The Crown.
Yeah.
But if they really love Stranger Things, you could make an argument that it could win that.
Yeah. I think Westworld's going to struggle here because of the cowboy hats covering up all the hair. It could be a cowboy hat.
Oh boy, there it is.
Yeah, there we go. But we'll see.
Matte in the other room.
It's the matte in black.
Yes. Can they overcome the cowboy hat factor? I've always thought the hat factor could be a play here. Though I've been wrong about that in the past. The hat factor.
It's too bad there isn't a hat category.
Oh, best hats,
right?
So I thought that's why I thought Westworld would win costumes, all the hats.
Yes.
So there we go. I'm gonna after the next winner announced, I will be inviting our next crop of people to be coming to join the discussion. But guys, when I do that, please stay here. I don't want to be left alone. Okay. So what is our next
winner? We have a winner for short form series. Gus Fring wins. It's Los Pollos Hermanos employee training.
Very good. Very good.
Another Emmy for Mr. Gilligan and Mr. Gould.
Yes.
Looks like my theory of predicting things that I want to watch came through again.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, that was your reality theory,
Yeah,
Zach. Yeah, very good. I'm gonna ask now for Amanda Spears and Kevin Jacobsen to join the chat, and I'll ask you guys when I want you to lead. So, what's our next category that we haven't talked about yet?
After hairstyling, we have main title design. Those nominees are American Gods, The Crown, Feud Betty and Joan, Stranger Things, and Westworld.
Boy,
this is a tough category.
I think Westworld might win this. It's very complicated. Like Stranger Things is an interesting one because you're sort of, it's just zooming out from a title, but it's so effective.
And it was iconic too. Remember, people changed their like Facebook profile pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, but yeah.
What I like though about the main titles for Feud, it's very Saul Bass.
Yes.
And it's very 50s and 60s kind of Anatomy of a Murder kind of titles. And it's so right for the period that the show is in. And it's also the only one that really tells a story.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. So we've got Amanda and Kevin here. So Tony, Tom, and Zach, I'm going to ask you a little bit first, just what are your final thoughts on tonight? We'll start with you, Zach.
Well, I think I'll have my final thoughts finalized after the last award is given, but I'm really, I'm on the edge of my seat, seeing what show racks up the most wins and what show racks up unexpected wins, the way that we've been seeing with Night of and Handmaid's Tale. You know, is that going to point the way towards eventual wins on the primetime site? And hello, Amanda's cat.
Dog.
Dog, sorry.
He's an attention hog. He likes to be on camera. Can't help it.
As we leave, we have a winner for hairstyling. Matt, you got your wish. It is Westworld.
Westworld, they overcame the hat factor.
Oh my God, there is not a hat factor, Matt. We've been over this and over this and over this.
Every year.
Downton Abbey. Every year.
That was my Downton Abbey thing. It's like the hat factor.
Oh, they wear hats. They can't wear. They can't
wear hats. They can't win hairstyling. I am wrong. Always go with the hat factor. To go against my hat factor theory, it is probably the worst theory on Gold Derby award predictions. Okay. Tom, do you have a final thought?
I'm very excited about tonight because this is going to be turning into one of the most exciting limited series races I think I've ever seen. Comedy, not so much. But this category, category by category, the lead changes and who's it going to be and how much of a factor is the Handmaid's Tale in the, when the writing, directing, and acting things come in. So I'm just over the moon by how this is going tonight, and I can't wait to see how the night ends, especially drama casting.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, thank you so much, Tom. Tony, do you have a final thought?
I'm loving. I'm thrilled to see the Night of doing so well so far, and I'm thrilled that Stranger Things seems to be, defying expectations in some of these categories. So, nothing has really taken a commanding lead other than SNL in terms of in terms of wins.
Where is it at 4 or 5 now, Matt?
Westworld is Saturday Night Live's on 5. Westworld is on 4, and you got
SNL is 1 win away from breaking the record.
Yes, so we are excited to see if that will happen. I'm not sure if it will happen tonight. I can't remember if there are SNL nominations yet to come in the pipeline. Maybe not, because we've had the 2 acting races.
I think they're saving writing for the main, because they did directing last night. Yeah.
No, they didn't do. Well,
I think they're doing writing and directing next week.
They usually do one or the other. I thought they rotated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. They may have done director. I think writing's still to come, and series. Anyway,
if they win writing, man, that's going to be a big win for them. In the history of their series, they've only won it 4 times, so it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, as the three of us sign off, I can announce that Stranger Things has won main title design.
Main title design, moving it up to 3.
That's interesting.
Moving it to 3. 1 behind Westworld. Oh, yeah, 1 behind Westworld. So it's coming up.
We're in a nail biter here, folks.
Yeah, and that is interesting because the Stranger Things, again, like with the Handmaid's Tale production design, which was a much more of a restrained or sort of like not over the top showy thing. The Westworld theme was very intricate, a whole lot of stuff happening. With Stranger Things, as we said, it was just zooming out of the titles, but was so effective it became a meme and people's profile pictures and things like that. So a great win there. I will, at this point, say goodbye to Tony, Tom, and Zach. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thanks.
And
Bye,
we'll now
y'all.
spend some time.
Bye, Kevin. Bye, Amanda.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay.
Hey. Sorry, making him stop barking.
Okay. So we are now getting to the really interesting part of the night. Well, the whole night is interesting, isn't it? So we're up to category 33 now. Series, limited series, movie, contemporary costumes.
I have the nominees. If
you have the nominees? Fantastic, Amanda.
Big Little Lies for the finale, You Get What You Need. Empire for Light and Darkness. Grace and Frankie for the art show. House of Cards for Chapter 61. I hate that they name them by titles.
Yeah.
And then Transparent, To Sardines and Back. I'm going to go with Big Little Lies. I think, you know, the rich white mommies are probably going to...
Yeah.
I was shocked that The Crown took both contemporary and production design because, you know, if that was the Oscars, we would have seen the exact opposite probably.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Hollywood factor, but...
Yeah. Kevin, what do you think? You agree that Big Little Lies could have this year?
Yeah, lots of great, you know, sweaters and beautiful like California costumes. Plus, I think that's the episode with all the Audrey costumes. So I think
it is the Audrey and the
so I feel like that's I feel like that's it.
Kevin, what are your just thoughts of the night so far? What's your big takeaway so far?
Well, first of all, I'm happy that it's actually competitive and that no one show is leading in pretty much anything, I guess, except Veep, which is picking up a lot. But I love all the night of. I actually just watched that recently, so more recently than other people who watched it over a year ago. So I'm really happy that it's won all of those. And Feud is kind of disappointing a little bit, but I think it is really shaping up to be Big Little Lies versus the night of. And we might see a surprise acting win for the night of in supporting actor.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Whoa.
Who
wins? If it's a surprise.
I think Michael Kenneth Williams is more showy and probably more, well, I don't know, more respected, but he's worked with so many people. So.
Yeah, he's been nominated in the past in that category for Bessie. So, yeah.
What do you think, Amanda? What are you calling?
I like the...
Oh, sorry, not in that race. Sorry, what's your takeaway from tonight?
So far, I think this is a really good mix. We haven't seen a show really break out of the pack. I think that, you know, the more they cancel each other out, the better it is for This Is Us. Because that gives them the opportunity not to need that writing or directing nomination. If this comes down to casting and they win casting, then you're going to see a lot of us flip the script if none of them have done a huge number. But The Crown's doing pretty well. It's won some really tight races, whereas the Westworld and Stranger Things have kind of canceled themselves out so far. Neither one has been able to really take the lead over the other.
Yeah. No, definitely. So our race after series, limited series, movie, contemporary costumes is limited series, movie, single camera picture editing. So the editing award. Do you have the nominees for that one in front of you, Amanda?
I do. Big Little Lies is You Get What You Need. Again, the series finale. And then there are 3 from Fargo: Aporia, The Law of Vacant Places, and The Narrow Escape Problem. And then the night of, for their season premiere, The Beach. And I would look out for the night of, because that is a pretty well-known film editor.
Yeah. What do you think, Kevin?
So,
I do think Fargo is probably going to cancel all of each other out. Although The People versus OJ did have 3 episodes last year and it still won. But I would actually lean a little towards Big Little Lies, because the sort of ending portion of it, I think some people didn't know how that was going to be handled. And I think they kind of handled it in an interesting way.
yeah, the ones from Big Little Lies, they edited the entire series, but I think unlike writing or directing, they only allow them to submit 1 episode. So they can't compete for the entire series. There's like 6 of them. So
yeah. What and let's jump into the next category. That could be a big that one we just talking about could be a big sort of Big Little Lies versus the night of contest, where we can see how they're sort of tracking against each other. But after that will be limited series movie non-prosthetic makeup. Do you have the nominees in front of you? We'll get Amanda to do it again.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, great.
We got
Kevin, let's hear 'em.
American Horror Story, Roanoke. One of only a few for American Horror Story this year. Big Little Lies, Fargo, Feud, Betty and Joan, and Genius for the first episode. Everything else is just for the whole series.
Yeah. Cool. What do you think, Kevin?
I have to imagine all the makeup in Feud is kind of a no-brainer for that, but obviously you can't count out American Horror Story.
No, you cannot. So what do you think, Amanda?
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Roanoke took that one also. It had some pretty showy makeup. They also had the people in historical makeup, so they could definitely sneak that one out. I'm looking more forward towards the drama makeup prosthetic, because I'd love to see Walking Dead win their 3rd Emmy. Game of Thrones has kept them from that category for the last couple of years. So no new winners. Did they take a bathroom break? My goodness.
I don't know. Those are Stranger Things main title designers giving a very
They're
long
talkers.
speech, perhaps.
Oh, and congratulations to Big Little Lies and their rich mommies for best costumes.
Yep.
Best costumes has gone to Big Little Lies, best contemporary costumes. So that gets them their 2nd win of the night, I believe. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, not a big surprise there.
Yeah.
They had hundreds of extras and costumes, as far as playing being Audrey Hepburn in that season finale. So kind of well deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be putting that up on my board as a multiple winner for the Emmys this year. And while waiting for the other limited series wins to come in, let's talk about the big limited series one we've got coming up, casting.
Oh boy.
Which will end this limited series run. This is really gonna separate the sheep from the goats, perhaps.
What in the world? I'm sorry, I've never heard that analogy before. Oh.
So let's no, that's fine. Let's go, Kevin. Do you want to read us the nominees?
Casting is Big Little Lies, Fargo, Feud, Betty and Joan, The Night of, and The Wizard of Lies. So if The Night of wins here, we might be looking at a big upset coming.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Amanda?
I think the fact that they allow producers and directors to vote means it's not as pure as it was when it was just casting directors.
Yeah.
So it could go any number of ways.
Except The Wizard of Lies.
Yeah, probably not them. Yeah. But if they win, hey, we know who's going to win TV movie, so I wouldn't be too upset.
Yeah.
I would probably give the edge to Big Little Lies, but I would love to see The Night of take it, because then I can go update my Emmy predictions.
I feel like this is the tricky thing, I think, with this is like Big Little Lies, you got more big names. You got your Kidmans, your Reese Witherspoon, Shailene Woodley, even Laura Dern. Whereas The Night of, you have more big names too, but more your working actor big names.
Well, I think The Night of might still take this and not win limited series, just because they cast it once and then they had to recast the John Turturro's role because it was originally going to James Gandolfini. They had to single camera editing goes to the night of.
The night of goes up to 4 wins.
4, wow.
Goes up to 4 wins now, tying with Westworld and 1 behind Saturday Night Live. And we've got about another. If it wins casting, it goes up to tying with Saturday Night Live. So the night of is having quite the night for the night of.
I'm trying to keep his bum out of the camera, but I can't really promise you. He does what he wants.
Yeah. So I could see the night of taking out casting, because I think you've got sort of in some ways more of your working actors that might get the respect more than a Nicole.
And they might respect that the casting director had to keep recasting this. I mean, that's
and
a
the recasting
situation.
thing that you were talking about as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because wasn't Robert De Niro attached at one point too for just a little bit? I think I remember hearing that somebody else was before it went to John Turturro. So I'll probably
give the edge to the night of here, but Big Little Lies would not surprise.
This is the one with casting where it's like so goes casting, so goes series. This is the one where I would still put a little asterisk by its winning series if whoever wins.
After we got there's some big awards coming because that casting's big. Then we've got the drama guest actress.
Yeah, we did. Left into that one.
We got the drama guest actress race. Oh Amanda, do you want to read us the nominees for that?
Yes, I do. As much as I want the okay, so we have Cicely Tyson for How to Get Away with Murder on her second nomination. Laverne Cox, Orange is the New Black, making the crossover to the dark side. Shannon Purser as Barb on Stranger Things. Allison Wright taking Margot Martindale's spot on The Americans. Alexis Bledel, sorry, I love Gilmore Girls. The Handmaid's Tale, and my favorite show finally got an Emmy nomination, and The Leftovers.
I think Sharon Purser is going to upset here. I don't think Emmy voting.
Why are you trying to make me angry? Okay, so
I don't think they're going to forget
you have a winner.
Not in that category, obviously.
No. Non-prosthetic makeup goes to Feud.
Feud. Is that their first win or their second win of the night?
Second win. They won hairstyling and they won makeup.
I'll get it on my board. I'll get it on my board. Yeah. Second, I'll cut out my Feud thing. Kevin, what do you think about guest actress in a drama series?
Oh my God, where to begin? I actually am predicting an upset, and not necessarily Alexis Bledel or Ann Dowd. I'm actually going with Laverne Cox because and
Amanda's shocked.
We got another winner. Yep.
Big Little Lies takes casting.
Big Little Lies takes casting. So against what I was predicting.
I think that Reese Witherspoon should win that for calling up her friends, but I've been overruled by the Emmys.
Yeah.
All right.
A great cast. Can't deny great cast.
No.
But Amanda, who do you think Amanda takes takes guest actress? And Dowd. You think Dowd's going to win? So none of us are predicting Alexis. None of us are predicting Alexis Bledel, the front runner.
Look, I want to be wrong, but Alexis Bledel would make history as the youngest winner ever in that category if she wins. So I can't go against that kind of a trend. They like women of a certain age.
Yep.
Yeah, and boy, Gilmore Girls came back this year. Wouldn't it be great to see Alexis Bledel?
Oh my God, she could present with Melissa McCarthy. Sorry, I'll stop.
Yeah, we could have two Gilmore Girls stars could win tonight.
And Milo Ventimiglia.
Yes, Milo could introduce them because you know how they have presenters present the guest winners. Yeah. So he could introduce Alexis Bledel.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
unfortunately,
or they could get Laurie Graham to do it. Oh my God, would she be the most gracious? If you read her tweet about Alexis Bledel winning, about getting nominated, it will break your heart how happy and proud she was of her co-star.
Yeah, but of course, as I predict, Sharon Purser Barb is going to win from Stranger Things. And all these is just mere speculation.
Cicely Tyson.
But it's interesting. So the front runner is Alexis Bledel, and each three of us are predicting different people than her. So it's really up in the air.
watch Be Cicely Tyson.
And Cicely
She's the veteran. Yeah.
And as we, I think, saw with Dave Chappelle winning, that really these guest categories are so hard to predict, and probably the toughest acting races to predict, maybe in any award show, because we do get throwing screwballs and all the time. What do we, after this one, and we might jump ahead to the one after that, just because I am conscious that maybe it'll come very
casting.
Drama casting, which is another big one.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you have the nominees in front of you, Kevin?
Yes. We got
What are they?
all the new shows: The Crown, The Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, This Is Us, and Westworld. So this will be the big thing.
And a lot of first season shows, which although it didn't work out for in the comedy race this year, or it hasn't the last couple of years, first season shows can do well because you've had to cast the whole show. So I don't know. What do you think, Amanda? Give us a read on this.
Maybe Stranger Things because of all the kids.
Yeah,
you have to find the right kids for that, but it's also the one that I think if it won would make me go, maybe it's not the 100% the drama automatic winner, because you could see how I think even with including directors and producers, they could say, God, it's really hard to find 5 really good kid actors who can almost carry a drama series. But I would look out for Westworld or The Crown because they have to find these people to play these historical characters.
And Handmaid's Tale also as well.
Yeah.
And it was only like getting a John Lithgow and going, we think John Lithgow could play a Winston Churchill and do him so well.
I think that alone could deserve him.
Genius. And then Claire Foy, finding her and she fits the part so well. Like, that's been very well cast, that show. I agree with you about Stranger Things and the kids. What do you think, Kevin?
I'm going for Stranger Things because, just like Amanda said, it's very hard to find like all those kids to just gel with each other and be likable. But I would also say it's hard to find like a family like This Is Us to gel together. So it's really, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these won.
Well, This Is Us is such a expansive cast that could also get.
Oh my God! Sorry.
And we have a winner for Best Guest Actress.
I'm so excited.
Alexis Bledel. Alexis Bledel. Rory Gilmore has an Emmy. Her and Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, Gilmore Girls.
Be at the Primetime Emmys next week presenting.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
So
I'm going to be so disappointed if they don't. Wait for my big rant if they don't present together.
And that also.
Sorry, I'm so happy. I love Gilmore Girls so much, but to see her on this show doing something completely different and opposite. And she becomes the first actress as an alumni of the WB to win an Emmy. So sorry, Kerry Russell.
So
hang in there, Gina. See, you can win an Emmy for your next project.
Yeah.
And the first
sorry, I'm very excited about this.
And this gives Handmaid's Tale
Two.
My counting, it gives us a second win of the night, so it can make it onto my chalkboard. So there we go. So
I'm just so excited about that. Oh, very happy. Please
have to say I am
Handmaid's Tale is on the board. Handmaid's Tale and Crown both on 2. Stranger Things on 3. Westworld on 4.
Wow.
Please have Milo present Melissa McCarthy and Alexis Bledel to present an actual award, because you will make so many people so thrilled. Sorry, I'll stop now.
So that's exciting. Drama casting, we're still waiting on that result. We're still waiting on.
Speak in that episode. Sorry.
I mean,
Mark
Margolis. It was a very strong performance.
When you think about Mark Margolis and that huge episode of Stranger Things Takes Casting.
Stranger Things Takes Casting. That's what we're saying about the kids, which actually is quite a bit. Like that's
4. No, that's 4.
That's a big win, and it's now up to 4, tying with Westworld and The Night Of, without too many categories left at the Emmys. We have coming up next, drama series, single camera picture editing. Can you please read out the nominees for that, Amanda?
Oh yeah, hold on 1 second. It's just coming up. Better Call Saul for chicanery. Better Call Saul for witness. Stranger Things for Chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers. Stranger Things again for Chapter 7, The Bathtub. And Westworld for the bicameral mind. And I'm just going with a vote splitting and I'm going to go say Westworld.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart money. What do you think, Kevin?
Definitely. And also, I think that finale is like really well paced and well edited, and made me
It's got
like
a lot
the
of
show
action.
again.
It's got a lot of action in it, so they have
really
a lot
tightly
to do.
paced. Yep.
Yeah.
So this is how things stand going into this award. Stranger Things and
Right
Westworld both on 4 wins. This race, they are both nominated. So if Better Call Saul doesn't win here, one of those shows will be going into the lead on 5 in the drama series and tying with Saturday Night Live. So a lot on the line as we head into drama series, single camera, picture, editing. Can I say, chicanery, a very well edited episode of Better Call Saul.
You know what? It's more the classic winner. It's not the most action-packed episode, but it could definitely still take it if they're a little tired of all these action-packed ones winning all the time, which is possible because we've seen a lot of this, like Battle of the Bastards and Game of Thrones
has
and
done really well here.
All the CGI, and it goes to Stranger Things Chapter 1. They've overcome vote splitting and
Stranger Things
Here we are.
starting the night at a disadvantage in terms of nominations and categories to Westworld has now for the first time overtaken them on the leaderboard and now is level with Saturday Night Live on 5 wins. Okay, there you go. Stranger Things up to 5. Our next category, we better get into the next category because who knows how long. Original interactive program.
Oh boy.
Do you have the nominees for that, Kevin?
Yes. All right. Amigo to the Rescue, Disney Junior Interactive Show. Dear Angelica, Hit Record times the ACLU. Are You There, Democracy? It's Me, the Internet. That's all one thing. Mission ISS and The People's House - Inside the White House with Barack and Michelle Obama.
I'm going to go with Barack and Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
No, but I just figure they hate the current president.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good one. Let's skip across to the next 2 categories, which are half-hour single-camera series cinematography and 1-hour single-camera series cinematography. Amanda, do you want to read the nominees for the half-hour race? And then, Kevin, you can then read out the nominees for the 1-hour race.
Group. We have Ballers for Game Day.
Ballers. First ever nomination for Ballers.
First and only.
Divorce for Pilot. Mozart in the Jungle, Now I Will Sing. Silicon Valley for Success Failure. Transparent, If I Were a Bell, and Veep for Qatar. If you told me Divorce is only going to get like 1 Emmy nomination, I would have said Sarah Jessica Parker, but single camera cinematography.
Yeah, I can see a Transparent winning this one. It's got a very cinematic feel to it, the show. Kevin, what are the nominees for 1-hour single camera picture editing?
All right. We got The Crown.
The robot one.
Oh, yeah, God. The Crown for Smoke and Mirrors, The Handmaid's Tale for Offred, The Man in the High Castle for Fallout, Mr. Robot for EPS 2.0, Unmasked Part 1, and also Part 2. Sense8, I think its only nomination for Obligate Mutualisms, Stranger Things for Chapter 8, The Upside Down, and Westworld for the original.
So from what I understand, there's going to be no vote splitting here as a factor. Nope. We have Westworld a chance to come up and level it again with Stranger Things. Stranger Things a chance to extend its lead, but then also like The Crown or Handmaid's Tale a chance for them to get their 3rd win. Amanda, what are you thinking with the 1-hour
cinematography?
Cinematography. Is cinematography correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gosh, I would probably go with maybe either The Crown or The Handmaid's Tale because I think visually those are maybe the 2 more interesting ones as far as the way they're shot. But I wouldn't count out Westworld or Stranger Things.
And also, The Man in the High Castle won last year. So
it could win again.
Possibly.
People in this, it's not like last year the Man in High Castle.
An original interactive program went to Inside the White House, Barack and Michelle.
There you go.
No surprise there. Yeah, so I think Handmaid's Tale probably is the one that's cinematography, especially after it won the production design award. I think not that different people vote in both of those categories. You got production designers voting for production design, cinematographers voting for cinematography,
and that's probably for the best than like having everybody vote for everything.
Oh yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Because if Alan Menken can't tell you the difference between sound mixing and sound editing, he probably doesn't have any business voting at the Oscars for him. But
yes. But I can guarantee you a sound mixer knows the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so I think it's much better. And you see less, last 2 years notwithstanding, you see a lot less across the board, just like, oh, we like this show, let's win it all. You will have a Man in High Castle will win cinematography.
And they were a very deserving winner last year. I mean, I think I think the subject matter of that show is what holds it back from some of the more top tier categories, because we're talking about this futuristic world where the Nazis and the Japanese won World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not exactly pleasant.
Yeah. The category we've got coming up after those cinematography prizes are single camera series non-prosthetic makeup. Would you like to read out the nominees for that, Kevin?
Yes. We have Penny Dreadful for Perpetual Night, Stranger Things for Chapter 6, The Monster, This Is Us for I Call Marriage, Vikings for All His Angels, and Westworld for the original.
So again, another chance for Stranger Things to extend its lead, for Westworld to catch up, or maybe they'll have been leveled by this point in the night anyway. What do you think, Amanda? How are you sizing this one up?
Not really sure. I think Stranger Things could take makeup, but
we've got some news, and this is going to affect the leaderboard. For half-hour single-camera cinematography, it has gone to Veep.
Wow,
Veep, which is showing a very strong turnout.
I don't like that show.
A very strong result tonight.
Okay.
So Veep is now up to 3 wins, which for a show like that is a really strong outing at the Creative Arts Awards.
It's never done that well creatively, I don't think.
No. So I know that former Gold Derby contributor Ralph thought that Veep had one of their worst seasons and was not going to do as well this year. So far at the Creative Arts, they are outperforming their last 2 years.
Well, I think it won casting, Julia, and series last year. So
yeah, it says it's already got the same number of wins as last year. Obviously, you'd trade all these wins in for a Best Comedy Series prize. But it's looking very strong. It's not great news for a show like Atlanta that's looking to take it away from Veep next week. And
Atlanta is lacking all those tech nominations that would.
I wouldn't count Atlanta out. Most of Atlanta's nominations are next week. It's only nominated once today, so Atlanta could come good with a. If Atlanta wins writing and directing next week, all of a sudden we're going to be talking about, will that upset Veep?
No, because Malcolm in the Middle did the same thing 2 years consecutively and never won comedy series.
I don't think it will win, but I would say that if it won writing and directing, it then becomes you're not counting it out of the race.
Yeah, makes things more interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I'm just, I gotta give him grief. Come on.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay,
he hates hats. He thinks that always is going to deflate your hair.
I love hats. I just don't. Oh, God. People are wearing hats a lot of the time.
Cinematography goes to the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, I thought it might. So Handmaid's Tale goes up to 3 as well.
Prosthetic makeup. I think I missed that one.
That's coming next.
No, non-prosthetic makeup's next.
Yeah, that's coming next. So Handmaid's just won cinematography, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we've got non-prosthetic makeup, and then we've got 3 acting awards to talk through, which I'm very excited about the acting awards.
Prosthetic makeup, Amanda went to American Horror Story. That was earlier.
Oh, okay. I knew I forgot. I must have missed one of them. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Poor Walking Dead. They're never going to win that 3rd Emmy. This was their best chance without Game of Thrones in the race. But American Horror Stories won that like 3 or 4 times now.
Yep.
So we got this prosthetic makeup. So it's still with the non-prosthetic makeup, Westworld needs to win to level with Stranger Things at 5 win apiece for the night. Stranger Things can extend its lead by winning 6 and will really be solidifying itself as the show to beat next week for Best Drama Series at the awards. We've got 3 acting races. And those 3 acting races are for short form actor, short form actress, and drama guest actor. Would you like to, Kevin, read us through the nominees for short form actor? Is actor up first?
Actor,
yeah.
Yeah, short form actor.
All right. So we got Ty Burrell for Boondoggle, Kim Estes for Dix, John Michael Higgins for Tween Fest. I love the names of these shows. Jason Ritter
Sounds like
for
a pedophile.
Tales of Titans, Ben Schwartz, yay, for the earliest show, and Alan Tudyk for Con Man. As you can tell, I'm rooting for Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz is so good in the earliest show.
Yes.
Been so good in Parks and stuff over the years, House of Lies. It'd be fantastic to see him win this. Alan Tudyk's fantastic in Con Man 2, a show that's really his brainchild as well. So he's sort of the writer and director of the show as well as the star. So part of me is worried Ty Burrell's just going to win this.
Yeah.
Not because he's not great, but just, he's won twice before for Best Supporting Actor. What do you think, Amanda?
I haven't seen any of them, but I think it's either Ty or Ben.
Yeah. Really, really do yourself a favor, anyone who hasn't watched the earliest show yet, and check that out on YouTube.
Yes.
Him and Lauren Lapkus, who's nominated in the next category, are both so good in the show. And Ben goes through all 5 stages of grief throughout the course of the series too. It's very showy acting. So it's the kind of thing that if the old tape system was in effect, you'd think Ben Schwartz would have a very good lockdown on this.
Oh, and non-prosthetic makeup goes to Westworld.
Westworld to tie it up. They've done it at the last minute. Westworld on to 5 Emmy wins with Stranger Things.
So that means all of the new shows, all the new shows have won an Emmy except This Is Us. And House of Cards has won, and Better Call Saul is at 0 also.
Yes. So Stranger Things and Westworld on 5 wins. We've got The Crown and The Crown on 2, and Handmaid's Tale has moved up to 3. So that's how the state of the race.
That's where the best drama actress race is between is those 2. So
yeah, and we'll see. We're about to let's look at short form actress. Short form actress. Who are the nominees there? Do you have them up, Amanda?
Yes. 1 second. Sorry, I was refreshing. We have Mindy Sterling as Bobby in Con Man, Jane Lynch in Dropping the Soap, Kelsey Scott in Fear the Walking Dead Passage, Mindy Sterling again in Sex and Execs.
Sex and Execs. Wow.
Sex and SECS for the listeners.
Yes. And Lauren Lapkus in the earliest show.
Yeah. Do you have a thought on this, Kevin?
Again, hoping for Lauren Lapkus because she's one of my favorite comedians in general. I listen to all of her podcasts and everything on Earwolf and all that. But Jane Lynch kind of feels like a rubber stamp if they just don't watch them. So she could very well be great in that, and I don't know.
Yeah, and she is, but I'd love to see.
She's a very popular actress.
I'd also love to see Mindy Sterling's fantastic too, and you don't often see an actor nominated twice. They're usually not allowed to be nominated twice.
I guess only in the short form category.
In the short form categories you can, but it's probably going to hurt her in terms of the win.
Vote splitting.
Yeah, I think Con Man's the obvious one for, because I think that show's got a bit of a bigger budget behind it and a bit more attention because of Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion's involvement in the show. But I'd love to see something like the earlier show, something like Con Man win here, because I feel like that's why you've got these categories. It's for actors doing great work in sort of who might not otherwise get Emmy nominations. Yeah, so I think I'm hoping I'd be most excited if these results went a good way here today. That'd be my favorite thing. These are the two categories I've been looking maybe the most forward to.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the last one. My goodness.
Well, bring us to the last one, Amanda. Would you like to read us the nominees?
I would love to read the nominees. The nominees for Best Drama Guest Actor are Ben Mendelsohn, who won Supporting Actor last year for Bloodline. B.D. Wong from Mr. Robot. Hank Azaria, last year's winner in this category for Ray Donovan. Then Brian Tyree Henry. Gerald McCraney. And Dennis O'Hare for This Is Us.
I can now announce the winner of Best Short Form Actor. It's been a real shock, this win. Kim East for Dix.
Okay.
There you go.
There you have it.
Sorry. Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh.
It's Emmy-winning show Dix.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So the drama guest actor race, though, what do you think, Amanda? You have strong opinions. You've been most looking forward to this one.
I think the fact that they left it to last makes me think that the 40-year-old vet is about to become an Emmy winner, and I know Chris is going to be ecstatic backstage if this should happen.
I have to. They do not know who's won.
I know, but it just
seems
the like it was meant
They
to
do
be.
not. They do not know the. That is a secret. Who is won the never read order? Never read order.
Well, I was going to predict him regardless, so I still think that it makes it even better that he'll be the last award of the night. Hopefully.
Okay, well,
we have a winner.
Oh, Jane
Actress.
Lynch.
Jane Lynch. There you go.
Jane Lynch has won.
She's up to 4 Emmys now.
Dropping the soap. So she's continuing her Emmy success. Jane Lynch, first from Glee, then for Match Game. What's the name of that show she does?
Hollywood Game Night. Yeah.
Match Game. and now for Dropping the Soap. So fantastic. We have one more award.
Oh my God.
Gerald McRamey's to lose. Kevin, who do you think's got this? Has he got it?
I think so, but also it's the Emmys, so who knows?
It's the Emmys. Are they going to throw us an 11th hour twist?
Might as well just be
jaw-dropping. By the way, all the winners tonight have also been being announced at the Gold Derby Twitter. Go to handle @GoldDerby, @GoldDerby. To get up to date with the Gold
Marcus
Derby
is
tweets.
killing it on the gifts tonight.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of gifts. Final award of the night. Oh, they didn't say who won it. They just said Marcus was just saying final award of the night. Who will it be?
I know. I'm like, don't do that. You're making me nervous.
So the Gold Derby Twitter account @Gold Derby. You can go to goldderby.com to join the forums, to join discussion with other award fans and experts. So yeah, they're the things to do. You can follow me on Twitter @NobTruth. A few people have started following me during this broadcast and going, oh, must
you
be.
You can follow me at Miss Amanda Spears.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
No.
Kevin, you're on Twitter?
Kevin Jacobsen. Oh, sorry. _ Jacobsen. Kevin _ Jacobsen.
Okay. So there we go, guys. But yeah, go to goldderby.com. We'll have all the updates and news, and it's going to be a hectic week at Gold Derby because because it's the week between Creative and Primetime Emmys. So it's going to be breaking down all these wins tonight and last night, what that means. And yes, we are all now just anxiously waiting. Who upsets Gerald McRamey? If someone upsets him, who's it going to be, Amanda?
Ben bleeping Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
You might hear me curse for the first time in a while.
Yeah. I think Hank Azaria could do it again.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Either of those two would make me mad.
Yeah. So I think they've both got a chance. But we will see. We'll see. No one from Westworld or Stranger Things nominated here, so it won't affect that.
Yeah, they could have nominated the actor who played. They could have submitted the actor who played Evan Rachel Wood's father in that first episode, but they didn't even
He was in supporting.
For one episode?
He was in more episodes.
I thought he was only in the one.
No, he was in about 5. He was in 5 of the episodes because he was.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah. We interviewed him at Gold Derby. I got to speak with him, so he was campaigning.
Did you wear your cowboy hat?
Well, sorry, I did not. Maybe next year I'll put on the cowboy hat for some of the Westworld interviews or things like that.
You could wear it when you talk to Mark Burnett.
Well, yeah, I also wore it when I should have worn it when I spoke to Jimmy Simpson.
Who?
The guy who plays the
Westworld.
The Westworld guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm just
Rachel
refreshing as fast as I can move my finger.
Oh man, Amanda really wants. If you hear a you'll be able to tell if Gerald Ramey's one from Amanda's reaction. Will it be a screaming ecstasy, or a scream in disgust?
Well, I wrote the spotlight on him, so I really, really want him to win.
Yeah. My big one was I wanted Ben Schwartz or Alan Tudyk to win tonight because I'd spoken to them. I'd spoken to them in the lead up. They were the 2 people we spoke to in that category.
I really hope Ann Dowd upsets next week because I really want her to win an Emmy.
I think she could. I think it's possible.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I think we've got a crack at that. So
you've got to overcome Samira Wiley. That's the one problem.
Yeah.
And Tandy Newton. I mean, there's plenty of problems for her in that category.
There are a lot of loaded races next week with a lot of new shows. Millie Bob Brown's not out of the question too in that category.
No.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Alexis Bledel just made history as the youngest winner means that they're maybe not as ageist as we thought they were.
Yeah. So
come on, people. I'm sorry.
What are we thinking about looking forward to next week now while we wait for this final winner? Westworld and Stranger Things have both won 5 tonight. An impressive outing. They go into next week. Where's my? Oh, there it is. They go into next week. So Westworld will be competing in 7 categories next week, and Stranger Things will be competing in 5 next week, if my math is correct. I think it is. So
yeah, you're right.
And I don't think either of them have vote splitting as an issue in any of their categories.
No, the only one that has vote splitting that it could affect him is The Handmaid's Tale and directing and supporting actress.
Yeah. So those these are front runners for drama series.
Hey!
Amanda's happy. The winner.
Gerald McCraney for This Is Us. Sorry,
has won, and This Is Us has opened its account.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Amanda, what's your reaction with Gerald McRaney? Why does that win mean so much to you? Why are you so happy that he's won?
He's been on TV my entire life. I mean, I remember seeing him on Major Dad when I was a little kid. So, yeah, it was a really good one. I loved him as the doctor on This Is Us. I know he hasn't. They say he's not appearing next season, but I'm sure they'll find a way to keep him in there. And he was the first big standout, I think, from the pilot. So I think it's one of those where when I was writing the spotlight on him, it was just weird how many of these critics from the pilot were saying Gerald McRaney deserves an Emmy. I started crying hysterically. He deserves this. And I'm not talking about like the lower critics. I'm talking like LA Times, New York Times. So it's so nice to see somebody finally get some recognition who's for some reason just been ignored. I mean, he's been on Deadwood, House of Cards.
Yeah.
He's been on everything. It's really nice to see him finally get his due.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Kevin?
I completely agree. And I think it's especially nice that this was just his first like big nomination ever for anything. And so it's nice for him to actually get the win here.
It's kind of shocking he wasn't nominated for House of Cards when you think about like just recently.
Yeah. No, definitely. So we're looking now down the barrel of next week's Primetime Emmy Awards. I was saying Stranger Things and Westworld both on 5. Westworld to compete in 7 categories. Stranger Things to compete in 5 next week. Are these the 2 shows to beat, Amanda, looking at?
On paper, yes, but I think we're in one of those years where at the end of the evening we could be saying all the tea leaves were wrong. Mm-hmm. Depending on what happens, I would not count out The Crown or Handmaid's Tale. Who maybe didn't have as big of a night, but it's not like either Stranger Things or Westworld dominated in a way which made us all go, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
5 is not that impressive a number when you consider that Boardwalk Empire for its first season got 9 Emmys.
Yeah.
And it had to compete against Game of Thrones
8.
first season.
8. They got 8.
Is it 8?
They got 7 at the Creative Arts and then 1 at the Prime Time next week for directing, because I know they didn't beat West Wing's record for, I think.
That's right. But it's still it's not a dominant enough performance. I wouldn't count out any of these shows except for maybe Better Call Saul, sorry, and House of Cards. They're not looking very good, but you know, This Is Us did what it needed to do. It scored at least 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which reminds me, Shane, because Better Call Saul had such an on-point season, and I would love that show to be in the discussion for winning, but at the moment, it doesn't really look like it is. I think Bob Odenkirk's got a chance of winning next week, which would be...
I mean, there's still a chance if, you know, all of a sudden he wins, and let's say it picks up writing, which is possible because Chicanery is a great episode, then yeah, it does. But if all these other shows cancel themselves out, and This Is Us, let's say it wins supporting actor or actress, and Sterling K. Brown or Milo wins, then it could be the drama series winner without a writing or directing nomination this year. It's just, it's so close between these 5 shows. We really, really don't know. They might just go the snob route and go with The Crown.
Yeah, I can see The Crown winning. I think. What do you think, Kevin? How are you sizing up drama series looking into next week?
Yeah, I can just say that I feel like none of these shows can be counted out at this point, and I don't know how much it really told us outside of the fact that this is incredibly competitive.
They spread the love around all of these shows.
They did, which is good because I love all of them. So it's nice to see that, but doesn't make it easy for us.
Yeah, I'd say if anyone underperformed tonight, it might have been The Crown, perhaps. But yeah, I think all of one of the things you would maybe... Well, I think Westworld lost a few you might have thought it could win, but that being said, it won
and The
5.
Crown and
most, so.
Stranger Things could knock themselves out of this. I mean, they could just cancel each other out.
Why would they cancel each other out?
Well, I think they're going head to head. They're going head to head. They're both kind of these. They're both the most sci-fi of the shows.
You mean Westworld and Stranger Things?
Yeah. I do. I think for Netflix, they have to be a little bit relieved that they did really well with Stranger Things, because they do not want to lose drama series to Hulu, because it disproves their streaming service strategy, which is dumping all the episodes in there. If Hulu comes in its first season and wins drama series for The Handmaid's Tale, I mean, imagine if HBO had lost drama series and Showtime had won the first Emmy for Best Drama Series. It doesn't look as prestigious.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and look, you can talk about that, like The Handmaid's Tale. I think it's still very much in the race. It won some awards tonight, like cinematography, production design. It's got some below-the-line support, obviously, and especially did well winning 3. When it's not the biggest budget show, it's not got the most over-the-top sort of production elements. Like, you know, it's not got the explosions and the shootouts of Westworld or the monsters of Stranger Things or the budget of The Crown. So it's 1-3, and you see, like, it's going to be hard for it to get some wins next week because it is going to be doing a bit of split voting with the actress and sort of writing races. But that shows there was a depth of support for it within those branches. Like, to be able to get multiple nominations in those very crowded races says something about the strength of that show. And I really think in some ways I'm sort of calling it, I think Stranger Things is in first, but Handmaid's Tale's right in second. And I actually think it'll be a battle between those two shows next week, and maybe tonight was sort of Westworld tonight.
Yeah, I still think Westworld's going to pick up an acting race. Right now, I still have Handmaid winning, but
Jeffrey Wright could win too, possibly, if John
Anthony
Lithgow
Hopkins.
loses.
If Anthony Hopkins could absolutely take this, if they carry the acting branch, because there is something psychological about playing these characters who are human but robots, and the way they go back and forth that could tip the scales their way. I mean, Evan Rachel Wood is not out of that. That drama actress race is one of the most competitive in years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have comedy races, which are like...
Well, what about the comedy races? Like, Veep looks to have just strengthened itself tonight. It had its best night ever at the Creative Arts. It got its most nominations ever this year. I still think Atlanta has a shot at this just because it is a very different type of show to Veep and could appeal to different types of voters. But it does look like Veep is on track to win again. What do you think, Kevin?
Definitely. And I think if there was any doubt that Julia Louis-Dreyfus wasn't winning a sixth, then, I mean, here you go. And it could just win writing or directing at this rate. I don't know. I don't think it's that competitive as other people at this point, but I don't know. Atlanta is certainly cool. And we did see some like cool winners at these Creative Arts, so that might be a trend. Dave Chappelle, you know. Yeah,
Amanda.
Yeah, I think it's Veep again. I have no reason not to predict it at this point. I think we're going to see Julia obviously win again. They just announced it's its final season next year, so I can already see the next 2 years where Veep wins, and then Modern Family has their series finale, and God help us, they take it again without Veep in the competition.
Next year's not wanting to put the cart before the horse, but next year's Emmys could be very interesting with Curb Your Enthusiasm back and Arrested Development back and Veep. Like, there's going to be a very interesting.
To dream the dream.
It's a dream. Some of the best shows from the past 10 years are all sort of returning.
Roseanne's coming back.
Will and Grace.
Roseanne's coming back.
I'm just thinking, like, if that doesn't happen, then it looks like the next 2 years we see Veep win, and then we see Modern Family's goodbye tour victory, and it's just I would say go ahead. Modern
Family's going to need a creative resurgence to win again. It's not. It can't just win on the basis of the Emmys are not sentimental.
There's the reigning champ, so it might be in a good spot. But you know, I thought Anna Klumsky on the vote splitting was going to win, but I might just switch back to Kate McKinnon.
Yeah,
because it's enough people overcome it that I can ignore that at this point. for her.
And mini-series, limited series race. We got some big T-Los into that. I've said this a couple of times. I think it's between The Night Of and Big Little Lies. Feud is not out of it, but I that's how I'm seeing the race crystallize.
I agree. I absolutely agree. This is HBO's dream come true that they're finally going to take down FX, because they've never. I don't think they've ever. They've been trading this award back and forth for the past couple of years, the two of them. But HBO
Kitteridge,
looks, Olive Kitteridge. Then we had People versus OJ. So it looks really good for HBO to strengthen their lead. I think that I would almost give a slight edge to Big Little Lies, because I think it's going to win writing and directing.
Yeah.
I think the fact I don't think it's necessarily fair that they get to compete for all 7 episodes, but it does help them because
and I think Big Little Lies winning casting might, in my head, give it the slight edge at the moment, but I will be mulling it over this week, because there's a part of me that just feels like The Night Of might come good.
It's the same thing with casting in Stranger Things. I wonder if they were able to step back enough and go, God, they had to find all those kids.
Yeah,
but they still give it to Handmaid's Tale or something.
And just for those keeping score, you got Big Little Lies are on 3, and The Night Of is on 4. Also, just looking at variety races, looking down to next week. Last week, Tonight won 2, yesterday. Saturday Night Live won 5. Are they the 2 winners next week for Variety? Are they both taking it out?
Yes.
Yeah. There's no reason to think either of them can't. They're both the leaders in their category, and John Oliver's competition barely, if you add up all their nominations, barely eclipses his total of 8. He was nominated in categories that none of the other ones were in. So he's definitely the front runner. And I think SNL is the apple in a bag of oranges, is going to take writing for the 5th time in their series history.
Yeah.
They can't do it this year.
Writing?
I think because you've got John Oliver, Samantha Bee, I think James Corden, and Colbert. Yeah, I think the fact that they're the only sketch series only helps them.
I don't think it's seen as a writer's show, and I think Samantha Bee might take out the writing. But I do think John Oliver's got the series race. If not on lockdown, he's comfortably ahead there. Saturday Night Live for Best Variety Sketch Series, I think we'll have it. But my one hesitation is that it hasn't won here before. So,
and Tracy Ullman was the last sketch show. She was the last star of a sketch show to win. So they might. She's the one, if they're not going to give it to SNL, to look out for.
Yeah, I do think there might be some love in the Academy for Portlandia because it's done well in past years in categories outside of sketch categories. But I would have been expecting it to get another nomination this year, like Fred Armisen sneaking into supporting actor or something like that. So
let's talk comedy guest actor real quick. We've seen SNL sweep, no problem. Kate McKinnon is the expected winner next week. Is Alec Baldwin going to win? Are they going to go 4 for 4 in these acting races, or is that the one where maybe Titus Burgess stops the SNL train?
I don't think Alan Baldwin's got this on lockdown, so I could see that race going any number of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I could see vote splitting is going to hurt the Veep guys, but Matt Walsh has a lot of respect in that in the acting community for what he's done in the world of improv and comedy. And
if we were going off tape, I would think Matt Walsh has an absolute great chance of winning this because he's
got a fantastic tape too.
He's great. He's
Tony
great.
Hale's got a good tape.
Yeah, but he's great in Tony Hale's tape, and Tony Hale is kind of really not a big player in his.
It's a little bit. That's fair. So there we have it, guys. The Emmy Awards. With Creative Arts, 1 week to go. I'll be getting on a plane in a couple of days to fly to LA to cover them on the scene. But it's been really great. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Sam. Thanks everyone else who's popped in. Kevin, sorry. We started with Sam. Thanks, Amanda.
Okay, I'm new here.
Thanks, Kevin. Is that the first time I made that mistake?
Yeah, but you're good.
Okay.
Is this the first video chat you've participated in?
Actually, I did one like 4 years ago, but it was when I wasn't even with like writing for you guys. So,
nice.
But it's been a while.
Yeah.
For people following the Emmy Awards, goldderby.com is the place to go. Join in the forums, join the discussion, and follow what's happening. Follow us on Twitter at goldderby. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.
You'll be seeing stuff from us in the next week.